Back at it in with the dead people.
Let's get it.
What are you, Logan?
Let's make this coin. Okay, so to quickly get everyone caught back up on what the heckity hack is going on.
Fuck down, bro. He's loud as fuck.
All
of a sudden,
the party is currently inside of a old sort of like mass grave mausoleum sort of thing that is buried at least 5 stories underneath the street level of the town of Showbury. Part of this place is old construction, and then some of it is much more recently dug out by hand, apparently. Possibly undead hands, as inside of this tomb, there are undead here, which were not buried in this tomb. They are much, much fresher than the actual dead people that are supposed to be here. And they are animated Draugr, which basically just means zombie, but like they're robots. A bit more, they're a bit more robotic. They're very well preserved, like they're jerky kind of zombies. They're actually very clean, hypoallergenic, and all of that sort of shit. So,
the perfect gift for every family member.
They are the perfect gift. And as it would turn out, as you guys are well aware, here in Showbury, in Uxlin at large, they do practice ancestor worship, and they also believe that the corporeal bodies, after the soul has left and has gone on to its final destination and its well-deserved afterlife and all that sort of stuff, the body is just a thing. It's just an object that's left behind, and while it should be honored as the former home of, like, your loved one and family members and stuff like that, it can still be used, so long, of course, as it is very well preserved, doesn't carry any sort of like diseases or maladies, and is, very importantly, completely and utterly devoid of any sort of spirit. So long as you meet those particular things, they're cool with it. These zombies could walk around on the street and nobody would fucking blink. However, these zombies are down here dismantling coffins. They are removing the remains of the people who were in these coffins, setting those remains aside, doing so notably respectfully, and after they have removed them from the coffins are being deconstructed, and then their individual bits and pieces are being taken over to a back room that's part of the dug out area, where there is like a big ice sheet. There's a pool that's kind of like frozen over. There were some traps down here, some of which were mechanical, some of which were magical, which you guys have, stomped through and survived. There was a animated coffin that burst out of some ice in a previous area on the map, scooped up Tim, and then solidly beat him to a pulp up against the stone. Tim was just getting it raw last session.
Yeah.
But anyways, as you guys were down here and were just figuring out the lay of the land and what was going on, you heard some conversation coming from up above you, because the guys who had left earlier, that had clued you into this location in the first place, they had returned, and they had apparently returned with somebody else, and they spoke very briefly. You heard the voice of Olgi, the priestess that works at the Halls of Rest, who has the ability to raise the dead. She makes these Draugrs. You heard her voice, and she was telling her Mook squad, essentially, to go down, make sure that the Draugr that were down here were continuing their work, and to pick up the next thing, do a final sweep of the area, yada yada yada. That's when they noticed the trail that the party had left coming in, and they were like, "Oh, we've got visitors." At which point, Olgi told them, "Hey, you go check it out. I'm going to go talk with Aj, who is Aj specifically, we don't know, but she does have stationery with her name on it, so that would imply that she's got some sort of position, in the hierarchy of this town. But she's going to go talk to Aj. So Olgi leaves. You guys never see her, so you can't actually confirm it was her, but I'm just going to tell you it was her. Anyway, her Mook squad consisted of some even more advanced Draugr who came down here. Those Draugr were tough as nails because they're just, undead blobs of hit points. They were not particularly skilled in combat, though. They were otherwise just regular, laborers, workers, kind of stuff. And they would just, punch and slap with their hands. So they weren't exactly, skilled combatants or anything like that. But they were intelligent. They did spot the snare trap that was left behind and dismantled it before moving forward. So they were, at least that capable. And like I said, they were blobs of hit points. So they took a couple of smackaroonies before they went down. But when they went down hard. The other thing that is notable about those particular guys is that not only were they intelligent, capable of speech, and all of that sort of jazz, but when they hit, they also dealt lingering poison damage, which again, as far as these people's culture and whatnot go, that's a big no-no for the undead. So these guys were illegal in multiple directions.
Was that something our characters knew, or or just something like?
Yes.
Fact? Oh, okay.
Yeah, that would be something that you would know. Is that part of the whole process that they go through with their undead here, and Olgi herself even commented on this in the couple of times that you guys interacted with her previously, is that the undead must be preserved, not so that you can tell who it is and all that sort of stuff. They need to be preserved so that they do not they are not pathogens, or they don't become homes to pests and pathogens and then spread plague and disease. Yeah, they're supposed to be as sterile as magic and science as these people know it can make them. So these guys, being not only intelligent, which is a absolutely huge cultural taboo, but then also literally poisonous to the touch. That's multiple cultural taboos here. So, yeah. And Olgi, the person who everybody entrusts their dead to handle all of their cultural affairs with the dead, is the one doing this. Yeah. So, not cool, not great. The other thing that is very worth noting, however, is that before the intelligent Draugr came down and try to get the one up on the party, you guys were investigating the collected bits and pieces from all the coffins and everything, and that is when Callie started to put Callie realized there was a math formula there, and she was like, ooh, a 2, ooh, another 2 if I put these together, and she noticed that there is tiny amounts of soul gem dust embedded in the wood of all of these coffins that they are deconstructing. And this tiny amount of soul gem dust is by itself essentially useless, but obviously if you had enough of it together, you could eventually make a functional soul stone. And anything that you can make, and once you've got a soul stone, you can make all of the different stuff that soul stones are required to, do stuff with. However, the amount of soul stone that's inside of this coffin wood, though, is microscopic. They would need literally tons upon tons upon tons of it to make a single stone. So that's probably not what's going on, but they're definitely connected. They are 100% connected. You just don't know how yet. So, other than that, the other big thing to note is the party leveled up to 9th. So, congratulations on all of that. I do believe everyone's sheets should be at least 99% correct now. We had a couple of little oopsies that we had to get cleared up, but that's been done.
Whoopsie-doodle.
Here we are. It is, just again as a reminder, it is upstairs on street level. It is after sundown. Most of the city has already begun the process of transforming into a pumpkin. people are going to sleep. It's nighttime. There's not a lot of nightlife in the town because there is still like 2 feet worth of snow on the ground, and it is the beginning of January. There's not another major holiday for at least a couple of weeks. It's cold as shit. So, with all of that said and done, and now that you guys have mopped up the poisonous undead, the other undead, which basically all came to a halt while the combat was going on because you guys were just clogging up the hallways. They jerk back into motion and like start doing what they were doing before, which is finishing up deconstruction of the last few remaining coffins and loading it all back into that back room. And unless you guys jump in their way, they're going to continue to do that, and they will be effectively completely done stripping this location in probably, somewhere in the next like 4 or 5 hours. So by the time it gets to midnight, this place will be
cleared out,
completely cleared.
Is there any way I can like obviously I don't have anything to like record, but is there any way I can do like a recordization of what is happening right now?
I mean, you can write it down. You can
just something
sketches.
like
you can take rubbings.
Basically, making something that I could turn in if I needed to just be like proof of something.
Can I take one of the dead?
Maybe.
Well, I mean, I took a piece of wood. I mean, I was thinking of just like scooping all of it into the workshop door, and then maybe like taking one of the undead smart Draugr in case they're like, we need to like, hey, this guy illegal,
I would
have to preserve that perfectly.
To point a couple of things out. Technically, you do have a loose Draugr arm that comes from one of the regular Draugr here, which is a preserved piece. So, technically speaking, you don't have to worry about that like just vaporizing on you or anything. You can collect samples of the wood and all that sort of stuff. Tim, if you want to collect proof, that this stuff happened here and this is what you guys witnessed and everything going on here, and just notifications of like, I'm pretty sure this is illegal, kind of stuff like that. That's going to be a legal lore check from you, Mr. Lore Robot.
Oh.
Yeah, your lore will actually come in very handy in this specific situation.
I'm spending a hero point.
Everybody gets 1 hero point if you're not at the max.
Better.
There we go. Much better. Okay. All right. So Tim begins taking some fairly exhaustive, very exact legal notes, and takes some rubbings, makes some like rough diagrams, all of that sort of stuff. That is going to take you, Tim, 10 minutes for you to do all of that. So while Tim is busy, what are the rest of you doing?
Can I search the bodies of the dead Draugr, since if there's anything like insignia, stuff in pockets, anything like distinctive and like, or anything like Callie might know, like faction wise, or like something that would like be able to help us trace. I mean, we know who they were working for, obviously, but like we want to know anything that might help us find out more about who the big boss guy is.
All right. Checking over the undead, the ones that were the Draugrs that were the advanced version. These guys, they are all roughly middle age to late middle age, as far as like what they were when they died, kind of like thing. They are all human, and they are also all pretty clearly Uxlander as far as like their heritage. So there's all of that jazz, all that is normal. They look, just like the non-intelligent Draugr that are walking around. There's very little visual difference between them. However, very distinctly, Callie finds that that one of these guys has a tattoo, and this was clearly a tattoo that he had before he died. But this guy has a tattoo that would indicate that he was a miner at the Copper Depths, and according to just like what you're reading on his tattoo, the reason he got the tattoo was apparently to commemorate opening up a new vein line that was more than 100 feet deep. And if the date is to be correct on there, that happened sometime about 5 or 6 years ago. So there's that. The other thing that is very interesting for Callie to find on these guys is surgery has been done to them post-death. There is basically a channel has been opened up in their fingers, going from their like fingertips down to the hand and then down the arm, and in their forearms there are openings, like normally where you would have muscle and sinew and all that sort of stuff. Openings have been opened up, and there is a very smelly, gross fluid in there that is not normal for humans to have inside of their body.
I do a check on the fluid.
Yes, you can.
What do I need to roll?
You can roll, if you are trained in it, religion, or alternatively, for a higher DC, you can roll crafting to figure out what it's made out of.
Well, going with crafting.
All right, and that is good enough. All right, so first of all, Callie, this is an alchemical substance, and it is very poisonous stuff. However, this poison it's actually a very common thing in forges. Like it is used as like a cleaning solution, some like a degreaser, like it's got industrial use. But if you were to like say you get it into like a person's bloodstream because you're being clawed by a zombie, it'd be pretty fucking poisonous.
I'm assuming that that would have no effect on somebody who's already dead, though, right? It wouldn't be poisonous to an already dead person.
Yeah, like these guys, the way that they're like these guys specifically, they are undead, and these openings, like they have been sutured, closed in everywhere that they would otherwise connect to the body's like circulatory system, so that the fluid doesn't go anywhere. It only stays inside of their arms and then comes out when they hit something with their hands. So yeah, but somebody did surgery to like to open up these openings to give a place to put the fluid, and then also stitched up each of their veins and everything to keep that fluid from going anywhere else in the body.
Kind of like an ink. Kind of like an inkwell, like a pen nib, or what do you call it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just like an inkwell. And then if the Draugr is doing a like hard motion with its hand, like it's slashing at somebody with its claws, momentum will just pull the fluid out to its hands, and then when it hits you with its hands, the tips of its fingers and its fingernails are just coated in the fluid.
Interesting.
But yeah, this is basically an industrial solvent cleaning solution kind of thing. Like Callie would literally have like a barrel of this shit back at the workhouse just to like clean up messes and whatnot. But like it would have, all the warning labels on. Do not ingest. If you get this in your eyes, wash your face immediately. Like that kind of stuff.
So these Draugrs seem to be like enhanced mechanically as well as like magically brought back to life.
Yes. Yeah. Somebody physically opened up a channel in their fingers and their hands and their forearms, filled it with an industrial cleaner, and then set it up so that the industrial cleaner would just stay inside of their arms, except when they're swinging it really hard, like you would in violence.
Interesting. be like, this could be a good idea for something later down the line, potentially, maybe.
Other than that, basic investigation shows you that their clothes were made here. Their clothes are much newer than like the bodies that are wearing them. Like this is modern clothing that you would see any person on the street wearing. So this clothing in and of itself is regular clothing, but it's fresh and it's new-ish. Like less than a year old, kind of thing.
Makes sense.
It's also
have to blend in, I would assume.
Yeah, it's also washed and cleaned and all that sort of stuff. So if one of these guys was just standing there, they would literally look like a living normal person, unless you're really paying attention.
Because I mean, these guys were intelligent. Can I do a check to see if there's anything different about the ritual performed on them to make them smarter than the regular Draugr?
That would require a religion check specifically.
And I'm not trained. I do have.
If you're not trained in religion, you can't even make the.
I do have cognitive crossover though with religion and occultism though.
Hit the feet for me. Let's look at the details.
Yeah, let's see.
Okay, that's. Okay, but you would need to be able to make. That would be if you make the check. Okay. Okay.
All right. Yeah, and I can't make it.
Yeah, but in this particular case, you can't. Callie specifically can't make the check, so you would need to get somebody who's trained in religion, like Laria, to take a look at these bodies and see if she can tell what's different.
Oh, what do you want me to do?
Make a religion check. Also, make sure to update your thing so that it's rolling as Laria, not as
zany.
Oh, thank you for reminding me.
Hey!
Goddamn!
Oh,
Look at it!
Let's go. First 20 of the night.
God dang. Okay. So, Callie was wondering specifically if the way that if the magic component of making these zombies is different from making the other zombies, the other guys that you've got wandering around right here. So, Laria, being very skilled in religion and the ways of the cosmos and mystical, magical divinity shit, is just like, yes. And then just, you just spill out a whole bunch of different ways that the way that these guys were made and the way that those guys were made is different. And essentially, what this boils down to is that, like, 99% of the ritual to make the Draugr is basically the same. There is one component really that is different, and the different component is that these other guys, the non-intelligent Draugr, they went through the process like normal. They basically got the basic form of the resurrection, or not resurrection, but the undeadification process. These other guys, though, they lack that last little bit that like sends the soul off to like wherever it's supposed to go, and it keeps the soul in the body as both an animator and a way to like make them intelligent, essentially. And then there's a final component that is essentially a shackle that goes around the soul that forces the soul to do what it's told to do. So these guys are again servants. They are commanded by whoever created them. And not only that, but it also very specifically makes them unholy.
So this is like full-on blasphemy.
Yes, this is full-on blasphemy. So not only is the soul of this person still in this thing, but they are being forced to do what they are told. So it's soul slavery, and they are being forced to do evil.
Is there? If we break the chains binding them, will the soul be released?
Yes.
Yeah, I guess I would just have Mr. Service go around and just be like, stomp, you're free. Stomp, you're free.
In the
They're
only
not physical
Callie way
chains.
she knows how.
They're not physical chains. To point that out, it's not a physical shackle.
Oh,
No,
my bad.
The mystical soul.
It is quite literally a metaphysical shackle that goes around the
okay.
soul.
So if we squish them, would they just be like stuck as like paste?
They'd be stuck to
Yes.
their body, which is paste. Yeah.
Yeah. That is what would happen. And Torque, being that she's got like some sense in this, she has some experience with that sort of thing. She's like, yeah, that's how a lot of like haunts actually get made. Is like they're bound to the body, but then the body just decays or is destroyed or whatever, and then they're just bound to the spot. So yeah, if you did that, these would just simply become you just get angry ghosts. That's the way that you do it.
They just get angry, so they don't disappear.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Now
the soul
to
is like
make
bound.
yeah. Now to take care of the shackle thing that Laria was describing, that just takes a short ritual. Actually, it's like 10 minutes. To vaporize it, you just gotta know the right incantation stuff, which I do. So.
Well, I wouldn't want to be those guys. They're shackled to those bodies.
Tim is straightening his tie as he's scribbling down.
He's just writing down everything. Like he's sitting over Callie as she's like doing an autopsy on this fucking body. He's writing everything down that she's saying.
Olgie is a bitch and doing unholy shit.
Callie picks up one of the bodies and is like, I guess we'll just do the ritual and free them. I guess that's like one of the last few nice things we could do.
Okay.
She put the bodies in a pile, and
Yeah, so with Torque, pointing out for what you guys need to do, you just basically arrange these guys in roughly a 10 by 10 space. Torque pulls out some chalk from her gear, does like a ritual circle around them, and between her and Laria, they can make the appropriate ritual check to free the souls of these guys.
Yeah. All right.
So, Laria, I need you to make another religion check, please.
Come on.
The DC for this is a DC 20.
Crank it. Yeah.
Aid, that's the word. Aid, yeah.
That's what I'm talking. Oh.
Torque.
Torque, do that again.
You're just supposed to be doing the spell.
Can I aid even though I'm not trained in religion?
No, you do have to actually be trained in this one.
Okay, so trained in religion. Let's see.
Torque's busy like pointing things out, and then like, wait a minute, I got this circle wrong.
It's the curse affecting her. She's too scattered.
Wait, no, I got the circle wrong.
I was gonna say, what's up with the city and Torque, man?
She is actually being. I mean, honestly, you guys can see that, like, she explains this stuff to you. You start laying it all out, and then she gets like very weirdly focused on the ritual circle that she's drawing out, and she keeps erasing parts and like redoing it. Be like, no, that's not good enough. Nope, that's not good enough. So, yeah, she is actively doing that. However, though, the 29 is more than enough.
Tight.
Okay,
Larry at one point after Torque has like drawn it and is going to erase it, just goes smack and then does it. It's like before you can erase it.
Just like bops her hand and then just does it. And there is a very faint sort of like wind chime kind of noise, and after that, the various bodies that were here, like, even though they're all like dead and inert bodies anyways, they somehow all relax ever so slightly, and now they are well and truly completely uninhabited dead bodies.
Nice.
We did a good thing. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Karma
It was good. I'm glad that we did that.
Yeah. Callie goes over to the other jogger, grabs the bag out of its hand, and then like, not very elegantly, just kind of like throws one of the flowers on each of the guys, and then just kind of like throws the bag back at the jogger.
It bounces off the Draugr. The Draugr slowly tracks the bag down to the ground, bends down, grabs it with its remaining hand, looks in the bag, sees that it's all empty, and then just kind of like stands there, waiting for command.
All right then.
Could we possibly, do something with these? I imagine they're bound to like the people that, made them, so they won't accept commands from us, right?
Technically speaking, just to let you guys know, technically speaking, anybody can issue commands to the standard Draugr. Anybody can issue commands. However, part of the ritual that goes into the creation of them is that they are beholden to their descendants. So technically, they only will take commands from somebody who is of Uxlan heritage.
How do they determine that? Magically, or just like by looking at it?
Yeah, just fee fi fo fum.
Okay. I was about to say,
mystically they just
thinking,
know.
I did have a funny idea actually. I was thinking, since they are undead, I was thinking of just like, I don't know, picking them up and then throwing them through the workshop door so they're not a problem anymore.
I mean,
and just have a bunch of undead Draugr walking around Callie's workshop, just like, what am I supposed to do over here?
That may not be.
I think Termite and Gactus might be like, what are we supposed to do with these things?
Just hold on to them. Don't let them go nowhere.
They keep wandering and bumping into walls.
Just put them in a small cage or something, I guess.
When you said, like, they determined of Oxland descent, I was about to say, well, I'm a Khan Rasu. I've been, like, reincarnated multiple times, so I thought it'd be funny. I was just gonna point at one and just say...
reincarnated multiple times as well.
And there's probably portions of Tim that come from Uxland, if not the soul gem.
Now we're just splitting hairs.
I mean, yeah, that's funny. But really, realistically, what this plays out is that you have to be almost always human who is specifically from.
Well, that eliminates like 90% of the party.
Damn, I was gonna tell one of the Draugrs the Oars Justice.
Well, I think that might be a good idea, because if they're not here anymore, then they can't be issued commands by a higher force to say, like, I don't know, like attack us or something, or do something else evil.
That is true. These guys cannot be ordered to do these guys won't do anything beyond their orders. And as you can easily tell with the one-armed, the now empty bag of flowers, now that you've taken away its bag of flowers, it's literally just standing there waiting for the next command.
I mean, could we just do the ritual on these again, or
they don't have a soul stuck in them.
Yeah. These guys don't have a soul. They are being animated through, essentially, they are being animated through the combined ancestor worship belief of the entire culture that surrounds them.
Yeah.
So, yeah. The other guys who have the perverted version of it, yeah, you can set them free like you just did. But these guys, not really, no.
Okay.
I mean, I feel like the other option would just be to pummel them, and I don't feel like attacking, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and they won't fight
reanimated
back.
corpses of, reanimated corpses of people that won't fight back is kind of like, you know what I mean? It's like...
I mean, technically speaking, if you guys were to, like, go get somebody who is of Uxlan descent and bring them down here, you could have them issue commands to these Draugr, and the Draugr would obey that. So, like, if you knew somebody who is from here, and you were like, hey, there's some Draugr down in this basement, can you tell them to, like, go lay down in a grave or whatever? Then, yeah, they'll do that. Otherwise, these Draugr will continue their task, which is dismantle all of the wood and bring it back over here to this back chamber, until everything is done. And then they will just stand here for the rest of time.
That's But that's the other thing too. Why just throw these pieces of wood in like this random corner, and not like in like I imagine like they're relatively like stacked neatly, but like pretty much like just
they are.
Okay.
Yeah,
so...
it's not a haphazard stack. It's not a haphazard stack. They have a stack of timbers which are arranged more or less by like where they go when you construct the crate that is the coffin. Then they have a pile of like nails, and they have a pile of wooden dowels that connect and that sort of stuff. So they've essentially arranged everything like you've got an IKEA set to put multiple IKEA sets together over and over again.
So it's not like a portal's just going to open up under the pile and it's going to just into it. It's like somebody's going to come back and pick up a pallet.
Assumedly. Plus, the way that you guys found this place, this would be relevant to bring up, the way that you found this place was Tim, when he was up in the tower, not falling from it, but was in the tower, he originally spotted the advanced Draugr walking out of the alleyway carrying a crate, like just like these coffins in here, that they were carrying it like they were carrying a coffin, and they went down the street and away from the building, and then of course it was a long time later that they came back. So the other thing that's worth noting is that like of all of the people you guys saw moving around that led you to the entrance to this place, if these special Draugr are the same guys that you saw walking down the alleyway, you're short one.
Oh.
Because there was one other person, or one other humanoid that was spotted, Laria specifically spotted them, who was running and who was attempting to be stealthy. So they may or may not be an advanced Draugr. But if you're just doing a head count, you're missing one.
Short one.
Well, I think we need to get out of here before they start sending more Draugr after us.
Yeah.
That would be a good idea.
Because I imagine that Olgi and whoever else they were, because there was another person Olgi was talking to. I imagine if they're blasphemous evil Draugr, well, that just honestly makes more questions about Olgi too. If like she is the one that is in charge of this, and supposedly a follower of
Orcus specifically.
Yeah, this would be a big no-no, right?
Well, by the culture of this location, yeah, this is a huge no-no.
Orcus.
By
Orcus standards, you would need to make a religion check for that.
Oh, well, okay.
You do need to be trained.
Well,
So
I am trained, surprisingly. But it's not a big bonus, but let's see.
Juned.
Hey, the DC was 20, so yeah.
Oh, dang.
Orcus, well, okay, so Orcus, as it has been mentioned before, is a demon lord. Okay, so Orcus is evil with a big capital E. But Orcus is different than a lot of the other demon lords in the fact that he does not really give a shit about destruction and watch out there. He doesn't really care about destruction and death and terror and all of those other like demonic things. But he does really have a boner for undeath specifically. And he's also not really all that big into killing things, which is very surprising. That's why he's quote unquote a reasonable evil deity, is that he is not really like, he doesn't care if like you go and murder people. He does not care. What he wants more undeath. He wants there to be more undead. He wants a higher concentration of undeath. And but the thing is that he wants that undeath to be like a choice that you make. So like he wants you to choose undeath. He's like, hey, just mathematically this is better, so you should choose it. And if you become undead through choice,
Okay.
then that's a big positive for him. If you become undead through like accident or whatever, well, yeah, it's still positive for undead. If you become an undead because someone else forced you to become undead, that's where he also gets a little testy about it. So again, that's one of those things where he's just different than the other evil deities. He's very fucking particular. Yeah, you need to want it, and you have to do it the right way. Yada yada yada. He's basically autistic about undeath.
Well,
So-
June will basically kind of, as like everybody's discussing, she'll kind of bring that up in like how we heard Olgi, and that it might be a good idea to come leave before they come back if they notice their Draugr aren't coming. And like as the conversation goes, she brings that up that it may or may not be in their MO. Like it's like that. It's a like shackling a soul to a zombie is not exactly Orcus's or Orcus, right? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Orcus, yeah.
Okay. It's not exactly the MO, so that's something that is fishy. This whole thing is fishy. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, and now it's not just because of Callie.
All right. Well,
Hey guys, I might be a fish, but this is really fishy.
I
Kelly
guess.
probably now smells like a
I guess what's
fish.
the party's
my
next?
God.
What are you talking
Or
about?
like earthy, or not swamp, but earthy because of your face thing.
Also, you're quiet.
Yeah, you're a
You
little
get
quiet,
quiet again.
Seamus.
God damn it! I put my.
I'm
microphone
not
up again.
Seamus. That's Tim. I'm
Oh,
Seamus.
Tim. Oh, sorry. Sorry, the stream
fine.
thing was a little delayed. I should look at OBS, not.
No, you're fine. You're
mean,
fine.
But yeah, I guess what is the party's
Yeah,
next plan of action?
Getting the hell out of here, in my opinion.
Get out of here.
I will
Carefully though.
say, yeah. On our way out, I do want to do some kind of. I don't know if it would be just a vibe check kind of thing or a true investigation check, but the fact that the portal at the top of the stairs that Tim fell through led to the Dawn Castle. I don't know if that was just like the closest place they could get to where they could just drop somebody from the top of the highest point in the city,
That's
or if it's connected.
That's probably what it was. Cause
That's what I'm thinking. But
he said that's like the tallest part of the city. So they were like, we
Yeah.
want to kill people. What's the tallest ability to drop them from?
probably.
But that is a good question to ask. Yeah, I'd say get the hell out of here.
Okay. All right. Well then, the party carefully heads back
Yeah,
upstairs
making sure to
and
step on
out.
the off steps that the zombies walk in.
Yeah, making sure to step on the off steps, making sure to step over the step that isn't real, and then of course when you get to the top, which just feeling around with your foot, yeah, that portal is still very there. It's still very open. So stepping gingerly across and out the door. Which also, notably, when you guys get to the top, the door is closed. It's not locked or anything, but the door is closed. You left it open when you came down.
Huh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, we did
probably
kinda do that.
something that was probably dumb. I'm being honest.
Can I do?
There is
tracking-
also a boatload of tracks in the snow.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, go right ahead. All right. With your tracking there, Tim, you can, with a little bit of difficulty, pull out the trails of the 6 advanced Draugr that came down, a 7th set of footsteps or footprints, which are notably 1.2 times the size of a regular human. So just a bit bigger than normal. They are shoed. They are booted footprints. But you also spot non-booted footprints. You spot regular human footprints,
Bro,
which,
got the dogs out
barely make a dent in the snow.
That's the same motherfucker I saw outside our inn. I gotta fall.
But you said barely a dent? Oh.
It's barely indenting on the top of the snow.
Yeah, it's barely indenting on top of the snow.
Bro, they got like elf feet or some shit? Like they lighter than snow or something?
Just a
maybe,
quick...
but they got the dogs out. That's damn certain.
Just a quick, can I, like, just double check, like, no one's, like, eyeing or, like, just, no one's scoping out the door as we exit?
Yes.
Yeah.
Can I do a perception check just to make sure there's, like, no one
Yes.
around anyway?
You can check to see if you are being watched or received.
Sure, I'll do one as well.
My god, what the fuck? You got a 16 now.
Yep.
That's because she rolled a 3. She rolled a 3. Well,
Wow.
However,
Is that a fucking siren I heard?
However,
now we're live react.
Timothy.
Timothy.
Actually, you know what? I don't see a dog. Give me the roll.
Oh yeah.
Roll.
Rick is there too.
Give me the roll.
Who let the dogs out?
There's a brick.
34.
There's a ball.
Hey, there you go.
All right.
Let's get it.
That nose.
The gunslingers got the eyeballs.
The nose knows. All right. Let's back over to the city map.
City map.
Okay. So,
Torque.
you guys pop out onto the alleyway. The party is currently represented by Torque over here. You guys are over here at a quiet basement. Technically, you're in the Underbark Gate area of the town. You are roughly half a block away from the main building that is the halls. Just so that you know, you're about 6 blocks away from the Dawn Castle, where Tim damn near fell to his death.
And shit ain't happening no more. He flexes his new wings.
He's like, I learned how to rocket jump from that. Anyways, okay, so Jamal's got that, like, that is fuck 34. Tim had that fat 30. June not far behind with a 27. Callie with a 26.
Let's go.
Like, heck yeah, okay. I have to check stats real quick.
Yeah, look at those stats, Fuzzy.
I have to check stats real quick to see if the stealth is good enough to get past any of that.
No is the answer.
Which I'm pretty sure, like, everybody else, yeah, but starting at 26 and going up, I don't know. I got to eyeball that. Okay, let's see here. Let me open up NPC stats. Go over here to this guy. Okay. All right then. Cool. Okay. So, all right. That means Tim and Jamal. Tim and Jamal, you guys do notice something. As you're just like looking around, first and foremost, there's no big commotion. There's no one obvious. There are a couple of people who are close-ish to you, but they are literally paying you no attention whatsoever. There is literally like a homeless guy, a barrel fire, like, you know, a couple of alleys down, who's just like warming his hands up and all of that sort of stuff. He seems completely normal. Everything is completely kosher. But Jamal, you do smell something that smells unusual for what's going on around here. You smell cooked chicken. Like,
please do not. Please be professional. Please do not.
Like, cooked chicken, like seasoned cooked chicken, like freshly cooked chicken, like maybe like actively cooking right now, kind of like think rotisserie chicken, like really like fresh chicken soup, like that kind of like smell is wafting to your nose.
I have to ask, why is that unusual?
Well, it's unusual because it is so fresh and so strong after dark in an alleyway right across the street from the Halls of the Dead.
I guess.
There's no active taverns or restaurants or anything near you. And it's really strong. And the other thing that makes it unusual is it's coming from above you.
Huh?
Oh, okay. Now that's unusual. Now that's
unusual. Like as Jamal's just like with his vague sense, like he detects it, and then he's like getting direction, and it's like straight up above you is where the smell is coming from.
I was like, I'm pretty sure Jamal would probably be like,
"Is it like
guys? Do you guys smell chicken? Or is there a?
Does the building go up into like the area where it's coming from?
Well, you're currently in between two buildings. The building on your
Does Jamal point this out to Callie?
Josh, I'm saying it right now. I'm talking as Jamal right now.
Okay. Hold on. I had an idea.
You guys smell.
I had an idea. All right.
Okay. I'm just saying.
So again, so that we are clear here, you have a single-story building on one side.
All right.
Then the building that specifically the door is in that gave you access to that area, it is specifically a two-story building.
Oh, all right. Well, is it coming from one of the specific buildings, or is it just like up in the air, like above us?
Jamal's nose says straight up.
Oh, okay. Well, then
where there physically is no building.
Oh, Callie's just gonna hop into Mr. Servos and climb up there, I guess. Climb up on one of the sides of the building.
I don't know where
the smell is, I guess. To see if there's anything unusual up there.
Okay.
Jamal just says like, guys, something's happened. Callie instantly going up. Is like,
Callie auto just
instantly already. I'm like,
just already on 12.
Like, what the?
Okay. Callie only gets a couple of feet. Like as soon as like Callie gets into Mr. Servos like his little wheels like break out into like the grippies so that he can like grab onto the wall and start climbing. The moment he starts moving upwards, everybody, no one needs to check for this, everybody hears the sound of like metal on metal, like a chain on a like gear spinning and clacking, and there is the clatter of wood against metal, and it immediately, like whatever is the source of this, starts moving away, upwards and away, and the smell goes with it.
Callie's gonna pursue it.
Okay. You get to the top of the roof, because Mr. Servos has a movement speed of fucking 40. So you get to the.
No, Callie's.
That's just on the ground.
Callie,
yeah,
Callie's riding on him, so it's fine.
Yeah, so you just scuttle up there as fast as Mr. Servos can move. You get to the roof, which, to be honest, it's a good thing that this is a winter area. Reinforced roofs to hold all of the snow weight. It also holds Mr. Servos. You get up there, and Callie, there are tracks on top of the building. Very obvious because there's no other tracks up here. You're on top of a goddamn building. But there's tracks in the snow. What you see, as far as like tracks are concerned, is you can see some very light footprints that are dogs out, but humanoid, human footprints in the snow. And then there is a spot where there is a area that is a little bit bigger than Mr. Servos, where the snow has very recently melted and then refrozen. And there are little trenches. There are 3 little trenches, 2 on either side and 1 on one end of this like vaguely rectangular shape that, indicate wheels.
It peeled off quickly.
It peeled off, yeah.
Yeah. I kind of, man, I wish I'd have stopped you.
Why?
Because I was gonna try and climb up stealthily with my grappling hook, but it's fine.
Right, if stealthily.
Yeah. Just try and
Bro, they
go up a
probably
little
would've
bit
still-
quieter than
they-
a full
If it's
tank.
like right above us, they probably would have saw it anyway. So like, oh, shut the hell up, bro.
Tim being the
as if
reason
you would
for
be any
stealth.
stealthier than me.
Yeah, but yeah. Tim being the reason for stealth is very, very funny, to be honest.
Bro, they'd hear the clank of your fucking feet on the ground, dude.
Or just fly up. But I think
Rock or jump.
Ruti cups his hands around his mouth and yells up to Callie, "What's up there? Did you
More
find
tracks.
anything?"
More tracks and some wheels. Some wheel tracks.
Huh?
Wheel tracks on top of the building?
Yes.
can I do some kind of like memory check or nature check to see if there's anything? Obviously, it doesn't make like there's a billion and one things that could make a light.
You said the
footstep.
tracks peel off and they just like go away, or
Well, no, the tracks don't move. There's indentation of something with wheels, 3 wheels specifically, sitting there, and then they don't go.
oh, then I'm
There is
gonna go up to it.
there is no movement. Like they're just there's
is
tracks
there, like,
there.
Can I go up to? Is there something there? Can
Like
or
something
something?
invisible.
Yeah. Can I do a check for that? See if something is invisible, just sitting there.
You like pick up a load of snow and just to chunk it into the space because y'all did that to find the portal and the fake stairs. There's nothing in that space. So yeah, Callie, you can very easily put together that whatever was sitting here, it flew away.
Oh.
It just straight up like lifted off of the roof and then left. But whatever it was also warm enough to melt the snow, and then since it has moved, that snow has refrozen into ice.
Well, that's not good.
The smell of cooked chicken fades quickly.
Can I?
The cook.
Bro was fucking eating lunch while watching us, that weirdo.
Or he was the lunch.
Can I hop up there and see if I can? Obviously they flew off, so it doesn't make he wouldn't be able to track. Well, he can kind of track anything. Can I hop up there and do some sort of check to see if I can figure out which direction it went?
I'm going to say no. I'm going to say no. There's not enough.
Invisible flight doesn't make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you're talking about some sort of invisible thing that also has a tag on.
Yeah.
Straight vertical too, not like a needed to run and fly kind of thing. Just straight up.
Yeah. I mean, technically, the only other vehicle that you know that is capable of doing that is the flying angler that you guys came in here.
How big did you say, like, the wheel, but like how far apart are the wheels? Or the wheel tracks?
The space that Callie finds these tracks in, it is roughly like 5 feet wide, like very roughly 5 feet wide, and it's roughly 10 feet long.
Okay, so it's like a personal thing.
Yeah, like if this thing carries multiple people, it's probably 2 at most.
Okay.
Okay. Well, I mean, we got 2 people unaccounted for, so you know.
Yep.
Well, can I? Is there any sort of like magic that's like left over? Can I feel for it?
You got detect magic?
I slapped him on his head, be like, "Hey, detect magic."
No.
Just hit the detect magic button on Tim.
It's right next to the
Well-
slot machine. It's right next to the slot machine button.
Let's go gambling. All right.
Instead of slot
Okay.
noises, it's just the Mario Kart item box sound effects.
Tim, there is the faint hint that magic was recently used here. So, yes, but there is currently no active source of magic within your reign.
Yeah, there's some magical residue.
Alright. So, yeah.
Which
Well,
means that do we know that obviously spells give off magic, but does casting a spell on yourself leaves magical residue?
Generally,
Magic
the way that I am doing it is that it does kind of leave like a little bit of an
Okay.
that
So it could be
usually
a
the more
spell.
powerful the magic, the longer that imprint remains, but it's very faint. It's basically just letting you know that, hey, there was something that was producing magic in this spot some amount of time ago. And just so that you were aware, in this particular situation, whatever produced this magic did it like probably as you guys were coming out the door. So like it was here and then it booked it. As soon as you guys noticed it was there, like the UFO was and like and zapped out.
Gotcha.
Damn. Well,
Okay.
guess that's something we have to keep tabs on.
Yeah. So
just throws her hands up, just like, yeah, we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it.
So, when you two come back down from the roof, Rusi wants to know, okay, we searched this thing. We pretty much know that, like, the tall lady back over there at the Halls of Rest has something to do with this. Tim took a whole bunch of notes, that we could give to, someone who's in charge. I guess, like, what, the Jarl Forney, whatever his name was.
Maybe.
Jarl McForn.
Do we want to do that now, or what do we want to do next?
I mean, I feel like he might be a bit angry if we just barged in while it's sleepy time, so,
I don't
how it,
think it's I can't
don't
see
think
any.
it's a bad idea.
Yeah, no. But also, like, that's gonna cause a fucking uproar if we turn all this in, because the Halls of Rest is like a big religious chapter of this entire place. And
I
their
mean,
head
yeah,
priest
they got
being-
Callie, like, seconds, I was like, I mean, yeah, they got dead people walking around.
Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah,
If they
I
find
mean,
out the people that are responsible for the dead people walking around, there's gonna be an uproar, yeah.
yeah, quite literally, the four of the most culturally and financially and defensively important locations in this entire town are right there: the fortress, the Dawn Castle, the Halls of Rest, and the Copper Tap. So they should
Pretty
sit
sure
right
two
on
of
top
them
of
are
each other.
Yeah. Callie then
Two of
thinks
them are, in
about,
fact,
how about, we could theoretically bring this to the, what was his name again? She says,
Jarl
Officer
Thorne.
Edifice or whatever.
Officer Edush, Edish,
Edifice.
Officer Edis.
Officer Ed.
I mean, they got a,
Officer Erectile
they
Dysfunction.
got a lot of,
My gosh, shut up.
Oh my god.
yeah, you
I mean-
rush up, man.
That was pretty good.
Tor-
That was pretty good.
Torque puts her hands on her hips
No,
and like
no,
leans
it
over to
wasn't,
Tim and she's
Johnny.
like, I don't
Dap me
think
up.
we don't know if it like functions or not. We shouldn't make assumptions.
I mean, we could bring it up with the Empire guys. They got a fucking stake here, and they're not like, they don't, this isn't too culturally sensitive to them. They're the Empire, and they don't really care.
I would
But
like
at
to
the
talk
same
to the
time-
Empire folk.
That is generally correct, yeah.
I mean, they might even know what is going on, potentially.
I mean, I'm down. We go back to the inn, get a night's rest, and then go talk to the folks of the Empire over there.
Seems like a plan.
All
Gotta
right.
give me a chance to talk to my folks too.
Yeah, and so and then while they're there, we could shill for the Fina workshop some more by saying we sell weapons and telling them how much we sell weapons and how many weapons we sell. Oh man, the variety of weapons we sell. Callie says all of that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
You can do all of those things.
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. Going back to the end.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Rest
So,
time.
the party returns back to the Gooseberry Fool
So I do
and
want to.
Wow, man.
get some sleepy.
I want to do something real quick. I want to go on when nobody's looking. Hopefully, nobody's around. Climb on top of the roof of the Gooseberry Inn and just check around real quick.
Okay. What are you checking for?
Tracks or obvious, like, invisible people, I guess.
Okay.
Do I just do a
All right.
perception?
Yeah. Do a perception.
Oh, dang. Oh, that's probably not high
Okay.
enough, is it?
The snow on the roof of the Gooseberry Fool Inn is undisturbed. You see no signs of any tracks of feet or vehicles or anything else. Generally around the building, you see plenty of regular track. You do, however, in the alleyway in between the Gooseberry Fool and like the next building over, which just to note is a small shop that sells like stone, cookware. In that little like alleyway, there is a pile of snow, or where there's a raised little bit of snow, which is actually covering several bushes and stuff like that. And one of those bushes has been slightly uncovered, and there's some very bright green leaves poking out from the snow. It doesn't look like this has been disturbed though anytime recently. Like probably the last like 48 hours, yes, but like not really recently.
You said just. Oh, okay.
Should we have somebody keep watch, just in case?
Probably.
I can keep watch. I only need
All
2
right.
hours of sleep.
Yeah. Tim is the night man. All right. Well,
Hoorah.
the party gets rest. If you are not at full hit points, remember that you get your level, which is 9, times whatever is your con modifier, back as just natural hit points through the rest mechanic. Although, before everyone really turns in for bed, Rusi does ask Callie if Callie can, take a couple of minutes to, repair his shield, because his shield did take quite the beating back there.
Okay, yeah, I could do that. Just use
So you just need just use quick repair and a craft check.
crafting.
Crafting good. Crafting good. Yeah. Let me. All right. So let me first of all.
Couple health potions, I guess.
All right. So everybody make note of those thingamabobs. I need to update Rusi's shield health. Okay.
Does anybody else need anything repaired or otherwise?
Okay. There's Rusi's shield
No,
health.
I'm good. Thank you, though.
And now I need to.
While everyone's doing their stuff, I'm going to take a quick break to use the restroom.
Kadoki.
I might too.
I will also be taking a quick break here in a moment because I was just informed that dinner is here. Okay.
Only negative about having high hit points. It's so hard to get back to that hit point number. I have 98 HP and I'm at 62.
It does mean that if Mr. Shirvos gets the absolute tar beat out of him, Callie will have to use quick repair multiple times to get him back up to full.
100.
Now that he has more than 100 hit
Oh,
points.
I just realized too, since I'm no longer at 27 hit points and my hit points got fixed. I gotta
Welcome
go
to
through
the realm of
same
high
shit.
hit points. It's hard to get to feeling better.
You know what, Swag? Since you can do it, since it's a per day thing, you might want to sprout a few peaches.
Yeah, give me your peach, man.
And melt them down.
Fuck. We never set it up as a spell thing, did we?
No, you just need to roll a d4 peaches that you spawn.
Come on.
Roll 1d4 for
7
peaches. I only make one.
All right. Well, that will heal you back. Let me give out the dice. So it's going to be this plus 10. So 18. You get 18 back from that peach.
Aw,
And I will make note to add that to your character sheet.
All right.
Okay. So
It'd be two spells. It'd be like how many peaches you make, and then it's just like how much health points the peach gets.
Yeah, we'll do a peach spawn roll and then a peach health roll. Okay. So, anyways, though, what was the other thing that I needed to do real quick before I go grab Piazza? Okay. All right. All right, Citrus, you back? Okay. While I go grab my plate of dinner, so I will be back in like 2 minutes or whatever. If you would go ahead and have June make a fortitude save for me, please.
Oh,
Whoa.
Hey,
Wait,
fortitude
because of Torque, right?
Yes,
like
a
because they're
fortitude
tossing and
save.
turning in sleep, right?
Yep, she's having a rough night.
I'll also be right back.
Jim will do her best to, hug her. Fortitude save, let's go. It's okay-ish. I mean, it's still pretty good with my modifier.
She say that's like if Callie were to roll a 9. Okay, yeah, it's good. 25 is pretty good.
I mean, a 25 with a 9 is pretty good, yeah.
Yeah. Callie's gonna make soup in the morning.
Ooh, soup.
Yeah, Callie gonna make Mender soup in the morning.
Honestly, I just thought of something funny.
Yeah.
Everybody sleeping in a bed, but Jamal being small and have his own bed. What if I just say he kind of don't really like his bed, so he kind of made a makeshift hammock to fit multiple.
25 fort save. There you go.
Was it already the next day?
I think so. I just had to do a check.
Yeah.
But Fuzzy
I think
is
it's
just
the next
grabbing
day. We gotta see though. Yeah. We
Oh,
gotta see the 25
Valeria's
now.
gonna meditate because like she can do it better now.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right, I am returned. All right, 25. That's good. Cool. I have me a calzone, or a piece of a calzone, anyways. All right, so yes, the next day, or actually, before we fully roll on to the next day, I do need Tim specifically to make a perception check overnight.
Gotcha.
Roll high.
Yeah.
Oh damn.
On it, boss.
Got that night
That
vision.
is, in fact, high. You do get that night vision. All right, so Tim, the night shift goes by in a blur. You know, you've done this a bajillion times at this point. There is only one thing that happens over the night period that is worth noting, really. Very, very late into the night, or extremely early into the morning, whichever way you want to count it. Tim hears movement, like outside of the front of the Gooseberry Foal. And when you like go over there to the window and just like take a glance out to see what's going on, you see a couple of horses, people on those horses who are wearing like full like winter gear and everything. Like these horses are bundled kind of thing, and they are pulling a sled, and on the sled there are several crates. There's no markings on the crates or anything like that. These are not like coffin crates, but they do have, like, they're not the same shape or anything like that, but they have a vibe about them that just really reminds you about the whole thing with the coffins.
Coffin crate vibes.
Coffin crate vibes. And so that I'm going to point out on the map here. All right, so you guys are here at the top, this little corner here at the top of the fairgrounds. That's where the Gooseberry Foal is. Okay, so you guys are there, and you see, Tim, as if you were like looking out here into the fairgrounds themselves. You see them come up, and I'll just mark it on the map here. You see them come up this street and then like around the corner and continue on in this direction.
Gotcha. Okay. So
that's the way they went, and they eventually range to detect them. They don't do anything weird or anything. Thing that is a couple people on horses pulling a sleigh at like 3 a.m. When it is like balls ass cold out.
Did they seem to just be going like this direction, or was there like a specific building on this? Obviously, when they got far enough, I couldn't see them, but was the vibe of like slowing down to like hit this turn, or just all the way out the window?
Oh no, they were heading in this direction.
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah, so like they're making the turn. Like that's when you hear them, is when they're making the turn. They're in front of the Gooseberry Foal, and they're just following the road down in that direction. So they were headed towards the kind
of old gate area.
towards the old gate area.
Okay.
The old gate area, which was also explained to you as the industrial part of town.
Oh, that is suspicious.
Old gate.
Maybe.
So, yeah, that is a what you were hearing, or what you experienced during that time.
I was gonna make a big pot of soup. She's gonna offer everybody in the party the big pot of soup.
Torque will eat soup for breakfast.
Alright.
I think Laria wanted to do something.
Meditate, I think she said.
Yeah, she's meditating, so I can get a temporary, like, I guess, skill boost for just
okay.
the day.
All right. So at the beginning of the day, you gain trained proficiency rank in one skill of your choice. So something you aren't trained in, you're just suddenly trained in.
Yeah, I do know it's temporary, right? I can only do it once a day.
Yes. Well, I mean, but you can do it every day, and you can change it every day.
Okay.
Kai's gonna offer everyone the soup. It's Mender soup, by the way, so I get +1 to craft checks and plus an additional 5 HP when I repair stuff. So.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Is that like for everybody or just you specifically?
Everybody.
Everybody. Anybody who eats the soup. Yeah.
Oh, what do you get with the soup when you eat it?
+1 to craft checks, and if you attempt to repair an item, you get additional 5 HP as a plus.
That's not
So if Jamali was to use handy with his paws, he would have.
It doesn't work on Tim though. He needs to eat. He would have to be capable of eating food for that to work.
Tim can feed it a Brick.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can just do that then, I guess.
Tim just Brick, come here, boy. And he places it on the ground for Brick to eat.
All right, and that, I think it says right here too. The effects last for 24 hours.
Tight.
Okay, so yeah.
I love the little token that Brick got. It's so cute.
I imagine everybody would notice that like Callie has a different aura about her, and that she feels a bit
chaotic.
A bit chaotic. Yeah, she's got a chaotic aura that permeates her whole body.
Vibe check on the soup.
My shit,
oh my god!
It's got gunpowder in it. It has cumin.
I have a question.
Brick's allergic to cumin. What's up?
What's the question?
Like today's a new day, right? And yesterday was the whole and yesterday was the whole thing of the you know what from last morning. If I'm guessing, if it's that day.
What?
Huh?
Risu having a moment is all I'm gonna say. Risu.
Oh, are you talking about where June and Torque teased him?
Yeah. Yes. Was it was it yesterday, that morning?
Did you say Risu?
Rusi, sorry. Why did I say Risu? Rusi, I got the
Rusi.
Yeah, I typed the words wrong in my brain.
Interaction.
What the hell?
Internal brain.
Or
Rick.
But was it that? But was it that morning? Yesterday morning was it?
Really reminds them of their. What do you? Callie like looks at
Because you're making the soup.
Looks at Rusi. Is like, what do you mean by this? Is it the soup or is it the permeating chaotic energy part?
Yes.
He just kind of gestures vaguely at all of you.
Oh,
this?
Wait, was our mom channeling Fey energy too?
Callie wouldn't know, but Rusi would.
Is she gonna tell me?
At the moment, the only thing he just says is like, "You really remind me of Mom for some reason today."
Well, then Callie's gonna ask like, "What part?" And then he's gonna gesture to all of her, I assume. And then she's gonna be like, "Okay, is it the soup making, or is it like the energy or like aura being permeated? Because today I feel powerful," Callie says while looking really evil.
He continues to like, honestly, like have trouble. Typically, you know, like, and he does point out like it's not like you're coming off momish or anything. Just seeing you this morning like this is just really reminds me of when I was a lot younger. You know, like Mom always kind of had like a but he's like, what is the word? And like he looks over at the rest of the party and like Torque slowly pulls her like head up out of her bowl of soup and she's like, vibe. Vibe is the word you're looking for. He was like, yeah, that. She had a vibe and like you're hitting the vibe today.
Callie thinks about it for a second. I've been meaning to ask. I've been putting it off because I didn't feel it appropriate to ask. But how, like, were, like, Mom and Dad before everything, you know? Like, how were they? Like, I know that's a weird question to ask, but it's just been so long, I don't remember. I was so young. Like, how would you describe how they used to be?
Look, I know this isn't going to like really like help Callie, but like they were normal. Like I don't know, like I well, obviously I was a kid for most of that time, and they just like my parents. So,
Well,
they were just kind of like adults in my life and all that kind of thing. So I really can't give you like a big breakdown of it. I mean, I guess, like, I don't know, honestly, why it occurred to me that you just really reminded me of Mom today. You just, I don't know, there's just something about you today that is a little bit different, and I don't know, I just kind of feel it, and in my head it was just like, oh, like Mom.
Well, Callie kind of like looks at her hands while still stirring.
Oh wait, no, I got it. I know what it is. It's the way that you laugh. You laugh just like Mom. She cackled like that too.
Oh.
Well, I wouldn't have.
I think I remember Dad telling me just liked the way that she laughed.
Well, Callie kind of like chuckles a bit and is like, well, at least that's nice to know. At least a little bit of Mom lives on with me, I guess. And then she like stirs the pot a bit and like looks at her hands like, I don't know, I get what you mean though. I feel a little different myself. Like there's some kind of energy or something that I'm
it's not that
through me or something.
It's not that curse stuff that.
Oh no, that's been resolved obviously, but no, I just feel, I don't know, it's like a sensation, I guess. It's like channeling through me. And it makes me feel,
if that sensation feels kind of explodey later on, you might want to like let us know.
Oh yeah, I'll let you guys know.
Yeah.
Does this mean everybody in the party is indebted to Callie now because they've eaten the soup?
No.
And she's technically a fae. Yeah, alright.
Technically, no. That is not how that specifically is going to work. But yeah.
Anyway.
Which, just to be clear, you took fae influence and specifically the gremlin.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Gremlin.
Okay. Gotcha. I mean, appropriate. Very appropriate. Okay, Gizmo.
Obviously, yeah.
Can't get Gizmo wet. Oh wait, Callie is always wet.
Yes.
Callie is always wet. I guess we can just try to not feed her after midnight. And this world hasn't discovered time zones yet, so that might be a bit difficult. Okay.
It's always after midnight.
Yes. So, I actually wanted to do something before we did any investigating, actually.
Okay.
I just want to do that thing that, like, I mentioned before in chat of, like, going out and buying, like, a book on mercantile lore or something like that, so Callie gets, like, mercantile lore or whatever as her 5th and final lore.
Okay. That is easily done. You can purchase that at the fairgrounds where the other, like, merchants, are setting up for the day. So it's easy enough early on for Callie to just go down there, find a bookseller, and pick up a book on mercantile lore.
Alrighty.
I'm awake.
Are you okay, Torque?
Alright.
Yeah, I'm fine. The bed seemed like lumpy to you last night.
Is there a pee in the mattress?
No one peed in the bed.
No, not
Tim.
Wrong. Very funny.
What are you talking about?
Would I be trained or untrained? I think trained because, like, would it be?
After you have had time to study the book, you become trained in mercantile lore.
Okay.
Sick. All right. Callie is a merchant now.
Like an actual merchant.
Yeah.
She's got real world experience, and now she's about to.
How much would that be, by the way, the book, anyway, just so I can subtract it from my money?
It is going to be 2 silver.
2 silver? Alright. That's an actually cheap as fuck. Alright.
They had several copies.
I love how we double down, like dug our teeth into the whole merchant stuff thing. Like we're actually
we sell it.
Yeah, we're actually gonna be selling.
Now this was always the plan. What are you talking about? This was always a part of the plan.
Out of character. But
this would be out of character saying this too. This is always part of the plan.
All right, hold on.
I
do need to check
something.
About
being merchants, and then it turns out we're actually just merchants. That's part of the plan.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns out we're actually merchants.
A platinum piece is 10 gold pieces, right?
That is correct. Yes.
Okay, so 750.
Each one is a step of 10. So 10 copper is 1 silver. 10 silver is 1 gold. 10 gold is 1 platinum.
Gotcha.
Okay, where is the one that I'm specifically looking for? Let's see, because I need to apply this to conditions. All right, let's see here. All right, just so that you guys are aware, Torque is actually fatigued.
Oh damn!
She is currently taking a status penalty to AC and her safety.
Would we know this?
Yeah, she's very visibly fatigued. She's really tired and just kind of bleh and slow.
Before Callie goes and buys the book, but Callie would offer Torque. You look like you need coffee. Do you want some?
Yes, please.
All right, Callie would make some coffee. Just make a pot,
Blood eye.
Regular coffee or blood eye?
Regular or blood eye? Yeah, that's probably what you would say. And then Callie would then drink some blood eye coffee herself.
Torque needs your strongest potions.
Alright, blood eye coffee.
Potions.
It's a fortitude save, right?
She feels like she's going off to war. She needs your strongest potion.
It's the
guys, I think we need to cure this curse quickly.
Callie's like, hey, I still got that scroll. If anybody's, it was our determining factor last session where we were like, we don't probably want to waste it.
Okay, so let me. Okay.
What was the saving throw again?
I'm checking that right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's a 15, but I just want to be. Oh no, it's a 14. Yeah. It's 14. Okay, it's 14. Okay, so. Okay. All right, she didn't fail, but that does, so that means she's not addicted to it. But the benefit is so that for the next 8 hours, you get a +1 item bonus to AC and saves, which, if you are taking penalties, called condition, which she literally is, and it takes 10 minutes for it to kick in. So over the next 10 minutes, the caffeine will slowly be hitting Torque's system, and the negative for fatigue will be canceled by the blood eye coffee.
You said, all right.
Okay.
Bonus.
Cool.
We got a bonus to AC. Yeah.
All right. So, so Callie makes coffee. Yeah. Callie goes to the market in the fairgrounds, picks up a book, meets back up with everyone there at the Gooseberry Full as everyone is otherwise finishing up their daily preparations, and gets all of that taken care of and away. So once Callie is back, and Torque is got, she's got that Red Bull in her. And so she's tapping her foot ever so slightly as everybody sits down, and she sits much more perkily than she was in the morning. But again, Rusi brings up the like, okay, what is our next step? We've had this encounter over at the, well, not I guess not in the halls of rest, but like next door to the halls of rest. We know that the priest lady there, Olgi, who is a priest of
Orcus.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Tim. Priest of Orcus, who is, and then he looks at you and he's like, an evil god, but like, not like a super evil god, just like a really like thumbs up on the undead or something.
No, he's evil. He just has really specific criteria when it comes to undead, and the way things are we saw down there, it definitely wouldn't be up to, let's say, their standards. So
Okay, so she's a priestess to a god who has really specific ways of doing undead, and he wouldn't be down. And it's also something that these people around us wouldn't be down for. So, what do we do with that information? Like, I'm a sword swingy guy, and I currently don't have anything to swing sword at. So,
well,
what are we doing?
We could go down there to the halls of rest and go swingy sword at them, or we could take what evidence we have to the Jarl, or
I'm personal to taking what we have over to the Empire conglomerate that's nearby, because if we turn this all into the Jarl, there is no true positive that will come out of it, because the absolute best case scenario, Jarl believes us 100% and goes and sends like a ton of people over to the halls of rest. There's a scuffle. This big lady who seems to have immense undead powers, either takes their arrest with dignity and just gets arrested, and whatever consequences happens after that happens, or unfortunately, more likely, we have an angry undead priest lady fighting the forces of this city with a chip on her shoulder against us.
And an army of undead.
Yeah.
Callie adds at the end.
I would also point out, this is Torque, but Torque raises her hand. She's like, and I would also point out, at least as far as we seem to have been told, Olgi's like a important person in the community. Mm-hmm. Like when we showed up the other day, when she was doing that ceremony, like that, regular townsperson that was there, they were just like absolutely in tears, like happy tears that like Olgi had brought back their like family member, I guess it was, and like was thanking her profusely and everything. That was not a scary or a bad situation that person was in when we walked through the door. So Olgi, beyond just magical powers that she may or may not have, she does have. She raised the dead right in front of us, so there's that. But like, she's also got political capital, social capital. That's another thing that we may have to contend with. Like, maybe we should ask if the Jarl and Olgi are like pals or something like that. Yeah. Although, talking to the Imperial guys, and like, I don't want to say anything about the Uxlan folk, but like, maybe we do need like an outside perspective of somebody who's been here for a while, but isn't like, tongue deep in this culture. Yeah. What? Is that funny?
Yeah. Callie says.
Torque just like looks at Callie like, okay. Well, like you've literally just like disarmed her completely with your reaction. What? Yeah. So that would be something for the party to investigate. Would also be to be like just how like in deep with the like command structure is Olgi, and that sort of stuff.
And we should talk to Officer Edifice about this. He probably would know. Callie's still saying his name wrong. I know, Callie.
Educk.
I know. Is that Torque saying that, or?
Yeah, that's Torque popping up again. It's like Educk, Edusk. He's got to say it again. He's going to have to say it again before we get this right.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was Officer Edifice and Commander Wine or whatever it was.
No, that guy was Vine, I think. Commander Vine. He was the tall one with the plume on the helmet and like the mustache. Yeah. He had the mustache and like the sparkling blue eyes. So
yeah,
that's the excellent guy. We need to talk about
I agree with Torque on that. I was about to mention something similar to that actually. Yeah, she's like, I mean, like they have her be. Didn't June say that she's like the only one in town allowed to raise the dead or whatever, and there's like no other, or was there like one other?
I'm pretty sure that. Go ahead.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was going to chime in that as far as the party is aware, the only place that the raising of undead happens is in the Hall of Rest. And
I know that. Yeah, I know that part. I was just like, I remember specifically something from last session where she said she's the only one, or one of like 2 people that is allowed to actually raise the dead in the town or whatever. I remember that being a specific thing that was mentioned.
Olgi, theoretically, is probably the only person who is do so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just mean that.
Yeah, from a legal perspective.
Because it sounds vaguely familiar to something that Olgi kind of said to June last session. I think during that that talk they had. Callie brings that up. She's like, from what she said to June that one time, she seems like she's the only person who's legally allowed to raise the dead in town. So she must hold a lot of sway and a lot of pull for that reason alone. Because, that being the only person allowed to do that legally, you would have to have a lot of political sway in how things go. And so...
or they would also have a interest in shielding them from any scandals.
Yeah, obviously. Because, Callie, then that was going to bring me on to my next point of the fact that since she's the only one legally allowed to do that, if she was broiled in some kind of scandal, obviously the Uxlanders and the Jarl would definitely not want to be involved in that, because then that kind of scandal of her being embroiled in this illegal activity would upset the general populace, and they would not want to be seen as obviously, being seen as allowing that kind of stuff by giving her that legality of being able to bring the dead back.
What was that?
And so they would fight tooth and nail to obviously be like, well, no, she's not involved in illegal activity, obviously.
So,
okay.
I guess what's the party's vote then?
So, again, just to bring up some things for where the party could stretch out for this is, you could go to either directly to the authorities, like the Uxland specific authorities, and bring this information to them. You could sidestep them and go to the Imperials and ask them for their opinion on it, because they have been here, but they're also members of this culture and therefore be slightly less inclined to be, protective and or obtuse about it. Possibly. You have the lead on the name Aj, And
Oh yeah.
you've got that, and of course there was the whole fact that those guys, the advanced Draugr, left with a crate, took it somewhere. That crate assumedly contained something, and don't know where that went off to. And also there was something with a flying device that was like keeping an eye on you guys, and also potentially has like a invisibility stealth mode. So yeah, who knows what that is? Who knows where it is? So those are just your things. Those are your things that the party could like latch on to. So as the DM, I kind of need to know, where would the party like to latch on to?
Well, it seems like a majority want to go talk to like the Imperials over in the.
Before we do that, I don't know if everybody wants to come with me or if y'all want to go there and I meet y'all up. But Tim would like to check out some of the industrial area.
Oh.
Okay.
Tim, like mentioning the like cart he saw, and where
Tim mentions the cart and is Tim's a little bit far away, but Tim does mention the cart and that being part of the reason he wants to check out the industrial. Yeah.
Callie rubs her hands evilly. He's like, "My guy, I'm coming with you."
My man. Okay. All right. Well, Rusi is going to go along with his sister. So we're looking at Tim, Rusi, and Callie heading over into the Old Gate area, which is the industrial section of town. The rest of the party, you guys going to follow along, or you want to go to a different objective? Like, does the rest of the party want to go talk to the Imperials and see what they have to say?
I think June would say at the moment, while things are still kind of, I wouldn't say like, what's the word, like the heat's on them, because they thankfully just sent their undead goons after us, so they don't know, like, us specifically are out on their trail, but they know that somebody is snooping around and like found their, like,
be right back.
Found their like operation, so they'd probably be on high alert, and it'd probably be better to stick with each other just in case something goes wrong.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea.
All right. So
yeah, that sounds tactically good. Good move. I agree with that. Says Rusi. All right. Well then, since that's what we're going to do for the morning here, that's where we will head off. So the party collectively heads to the Old Gate section of town. All right. So let me pull up the Old Gate section of town, part of my notes. All right. Okay. All right. So the Old Gate section. Where you at? Where you at, buddy? You're in here somewhere. You're in one of these. You're in one of these. Here we go. Okay. All right. So the Old Gate. As I've mentioned, this is the industrial side of town, and as the name might imply, as the party moves over into this location, you guys see that the architecture here is older. It is a bit dingier. There's clearly signs of soot and heavy industry and whatnot going on in this area. It does not look nearly as tied over at Oakumsea. They do seem to have cleaning service or something that goes on here. The other thing is you do also immediately notice a slightly higher, but noticeably higher concentration of Imperials in the area. This is also the area where you do have the smaller market that specifically allows for the buying and selling of And I would like to remind you guys, the Jarl did ask when you showed up. He said, "Pretty please, don't sell to children. Don't sell guns to kids." It's not technically illegal, but they're thinking about making it legal. So yeah. Which that said, you see several young teenager humans who have that little like badge on them that says that I'm a page. You do see a lot of them walking around with like shopping lists and like, you know, collecting things from shops and merchants and, you know, going about like normal. But yeah, you do occasionally see essentially a 12-year-old walking along with a hand crate full of like grenades. Yeah.
Callie starts rubbing her hands together. Oh, these seem like my kind of people.
Other than that, though, first of all, there is also just weapons on display. There are shops that are dedicated to just the sale of weapons, which includes both your traditional, like melee weapons as well as like hunting-related weapons like bows and crossbows. But then you also have the tanks, cannons, and more cannons. You know, kind of like locations. And they are not shy about the fact that they are selling weapons of war. Most of the people doing the buying are Imperial. Most of the people who are doing selling are Uxlander. And Callie, being the avid creator, inventor that she is, she can see that the guns and things that are on sale here, like these things are a decade out of date. As far as like what the Empire, like, you know, down south when you guys are in Harham or something like that, and you're like walking along, the average guard, like the average naval, they have much more advanced weaponry than these. So like they're selling a lot of guns, they're selling a lot of cannons, they're still very useful and they're still very deadly, but they are not cutting edge. There's also some construction equipment, which is just very Imperial, like this was not made here. But there is construction equipment that is for sale, which does include a thing which looks like it might be a distant evolutionary cousin to Mr. Servo. It is a clockwork device that, when wound up, can be either ridden by a person or commanded remotely to do heavy lifting, moving, working. It's got grippy claws and sort of stuff. It has a pickaxe attachment so that it can like burrow. That sort of like gizmos. And once you guys are more than a block or two into Oldgate, you start seeing automatons. These are Imperial automatons, as basically all automatons are, and they are the like standard combat model automatons.
Are we following trail, or are we just like walking in an old gate?
You're just kind of walking in, you know, just seeing the sights, catching the vibe. You're not currently actually actively going anywhere. I'm just letting you know what's here. And but like I said, after you get like more than a block or two into the space, that's when you start to see a couple of automatons start to pop up in the crowd. The other thing that is notable, other than their sheer presence and their sheer existence, is that each one of these automatons is dressed exactly the same. They're all wearing the exact same outfit. So it's like you're seeing copies of the same automaton over and over again. There are slight differences between them, so that they're clearly not the same guy over and over again, but they look that way. Like if you
are they all
didn't know...
Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
I was just gonna ask: are they all like similar to same model, or are they just varying versions of like combat model?
They are. Well, basically, they're all the same combat model. These guys are. They are the combat model that was sort of like the early issue when it came to automaton soldiers for the Empire. These guys are basically designed for melee. They have a heavy chassis. They have very heavy, like, arms, which you can see that a lot of them have the attachments for integrated blades, although they don't have blades in them. They've been decommissioned, such as yet. But these guys are basically melee combatants. Like, that was their specialty. But yeah, they are all walking around like they're wearing a uniform.
I do have a question. Can I do like a what's the word for it? Can I gather info like
Yes.
on that guy's name? What was his name? The guy we got, like the fucking dude.
Ajay.
Aj?
Yeah, Aj.
Okay.
Can I just
Okay.
like
So
hear
Yes.
listen in and see if I can find
gather information is a specific action you can take, and let me tell you how it works.
Okay.
Let's see. Gather information. Okay. Now, standardly for gather information. Okay. Okay. I guess my first thing that I need to ask is, are you seeking in-depth information or general information?
Oh shit.
Because that adjusts the DC.
I guess.
I would shoot for
What's
general.
the check that I have to do before I walk in for that one?
Let's see here.
Is it
Actually, it depends on how you want to go about gathering the information, because there are feats that allow you to do it specifically. I believe it's otherwise base diplomacy, and it does take 1 hour. It does take 1 hour, so you need to determine first and foremost if you want general information or specific information.
I don't have a high diplomacy.
I have a 16.
Well, I would be remiss, but to point out that Torque has a 13 in diplomacy, and she actually gets a +1 to if she talks to people who aren't human and or are part of marginalized communities. She gets an additional +1 specifically for this exact thing.
I guess I'll have Torque do general info then, I guess.
Okay, so you want her to ask about Aj.
If you want,
Yes.
Tim has a 16.
And then
Okay.
I guess Tim could do in-depth. You want to do in-depth info?
I can do in-depth.
Alright.
I'm here looking for 2 things, and while I'm looking for those 2 things, I will also be helping Callie.
Alright.
All right. What 2 things are you looking for?
Both the cart and any and all traces of Viva Machina, whether that be the color palette, the mark, even just something that looks familiar in my head.
Okay. Then let me go ahead and roll Torque's gather information. The DC for this, and you said general information, right?
Yeah, general, just like surface level. Yeah.
Okay.
That was one of the feats I was thinking about retaking. Was the one that instead of like diplomacy for like gather information, it would be society, because that's the second skill that Callie's a master in is society. I might
you do need a feat specific.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's the feat I was thinking of getting. I might get it next level up, depending on.
Okay, so I've got the DC, general information about Aj. Here's Torque's check. Blows it out of the water.
Damn, we should have had her done in depth. Shit.
So Torque starts asking around while you guys are just, looking about the place. Let's see, for Tim. Tim, I need you during this same time period to make a perception check, please.
Can I get aid from Brick?
Yes, Brick can aid in this.
Oh damn, bro.
36.
Jesus Christ.
Ding dang. Alrighty.
Bada bing,
Okay.
bada boom.
I think he sees.
Tim locked in.
Gentlemen.
That's what
Tim
that D4 roll
is-
was for.
Tim is locked in. Okay, so Tim, while everyone's walking around, when you get into kind of like the inner area of it, which matter of fact, let me just move Torque over here. So you guys are like deep into Old Gate. And Torque's been, kind of wandering around and just like chatting people up and, whatnot, using her natural charm to, weave her way into conversations. And, when somebody doesn't seem like they quite want to immediately open up, she like accidentally drops something and then bends over to pick it up. Like,
Oh no, I dropped my pencil.
Yeah, oh no, I dropped my pencil. So she's just using bimbo magic over to the and while she's doing that,
Man, you're just gonna run with that bimbo magic comment for the rest of the campaign, aren't you?
That is the magic.
It is fucking funny. You have added to Torque's lore, and I'm afraid, unfortunately, that we're all going to suffer for that.
Well, I mean,
So yeah. Anyways, while she's doing that passively over on the side, Tim, you are keeping an eye out for that sled and those horses and the people that you saw. You're also keeping an eye out for anything that relates back to Viva Machina, and you spot both in the same location.
Oh dang! Oh damn! Oh damn, bro!
Yeah. So Torque is, like I said, off to the side. She's just chatting up some locals, talking to some merchants, and occasionally weaving, question around of like, blah blah blah, and she can poke at people. But you happen to notice that roughly, like half a block away, you see a sled, an empty sled, and first you're like, that's kind of about the right size. And then as you're looking at it, you notice some horse blankets, which are, because they're not horses currently attached to it, horse blankets currently draped over the front of it. And they have a relatively distinct pattern on it. And you're like, that's them. That's that was definitely that sled. Those blankets were on those horses, yada, yada. They're not there, and you don't see any people like immediately around it. But that sled is parked next to some other like carts and other vehicles and whatnot. All of them are empty of any sort of cargo. They aren't connected to any sort of like beast of burden or anything like that. They're all just, sitting there waiting. It's basically a parking lot. But the building that this would be a parking lot for very much looks like some kind of forge or warehouse or workshop, like not too incredibly dissimilar to the workshop back at town. And there are some people moving in and out of the building. They look perfectly normal and all that, but every now and again you see through the open door, you see a automaton who is like inside of the building behind a counter or a desk or something like that, some sort of greeter secretary sort of like thing. And that automaton looks different from the other automaton. That automaton has the same faceplate that Tim does.
Oh.
Huh. Tim has has to fight back the feeling of just barging in, and he takes note of this building.
Mm-hmm.
He will just like mark off where this place is in his head, and then we'll continue helping. Tim will stay for just a minute to watch the workings of this building for just a minute longer, and then after that's done, we'll go help Callie with the in-depth look for Aj.
Okay. Alrighty.
After that, I definitely would like to go investigate the building. I mean, I theoretically could go investigate the building while he's doing that.
Yeah.
All right.
They have no reason to believe that you're connected with me.
Callie's helping Tim, and Tim is helping Callie once again.
Yo.
Yep. All right. So, I'm going to say that we're roughly 45 minutes into Torque's hour that she needs in order to like gather information. And it is currently still relatively early in the morning. It's about 10 a.m. or so. Slowly approaching lunch. And the business here is beginning to ramp up. Crowds are beginning to get a little bit thicker, not like overwhelming or anything like that. Just, more pages who are being sent out by their bosses to like do shopping that isn't technically illegal, but pretty soon probably will be. So all of that sort of stuff. So more of these like pages are showing up. You've got more people showing up. There is the number of Imperials in the area is also like just generally increasing over this time period. And coming in and out of this building is you've got a regular sort of like crowd of people. There's even another like wagon that pulls up with a whole bunch of like crates. People get out of the wagon, go into the building. They're in there for like maybe a minute or two. Then they come back out of the building and begin unloading the wagon. Out come a few automatons who help with the unloading process. They walk everything in. They park the wagon, disconnect the horses, take the horses around like the stables or whatever.
Idea.
And
Callie's I would imagine Callie's with Tim right now while this is happening.
Yeah, you guys are just casually like I said, like half a block away, keeping an eye on this public space.
Callie says to Tim, he's like, how useful do you think it would be for me to sneak in there and see what's going on?
I think it would be less. I don't think the benefits that you would get from it would be worth the negatives if you got caught.
True.
Let me put it like that. Then you would probably likely only learn what their business looks like.
I see.
Because I highly doubt anything that they do untoward would not be done in broad daylight like this.
That is true, but at the same time...
I don't think it's a bad idea to sneak in. I just don't think sneaking in during the daytime is the plan. Perhaps coming back at night, though, would be better.
True. But at the same time, they might also be more inclined to have guards at night.
Perhaps. Let's give it one round trip.
One round trip of the building, or like?
Yeah, let's just do.
I mean, if I could, I would like to see what's inside those boxes.
I don't know if there's a way to do that without it immediately being. Exact same.
That is.
Well,
I do have an idea actually.
I did see them.
Callie then pulls out Dr. Tremors, and is like, "Hey yo, Dr. Tremors, could you like look inside a couple boxes for me and like tell me what's inside of them, while also pretending to be like a rat or something?"
I'm a rat.
Okay.
Digging into the boxes makes sense. Yeah, that's good.
I'm gonna have Dr. Tremors go investigate what's inside the boxes.
Okay then.
Sneak.
All right. So, Dr. Tremors. Let's open up Dr. Tremors' updated sheet. So let me open up Dr. Tremors' sheet here real quick. Okay, so Dr. Tremors, the amphibious deluder of annihilation, the first, is going to shimmy shake his way over there, pretending to be a rat. So he goes over there to take a look. So let me first of all check. What is your DC, my man? All right, our little rat has a stealth DC of 22.
Oh dang!
All right, so he's got a stealth DC of 22. I am going to. We'll make a public roll check for just general people, and then I'm going to make a couple of checks for some specifics. So first of all, we'll just see if anybody of the common folk around notice anything. So we're going to roll. All right. I mean, they could theoretically spot this. They don't. Okay. All right. So nobody calls out like, "Hey, there's a rat over there that also looks a little weird."
Oh shit! All right.
Okay.
Oh,
So.
yeah, right.
All right.
shit,
So
damn.
now. Alrighty. So let's see here. All right. Okay. There's my. Okay, that's their bonus. Let's roll for these guys. That's going to be a no
Okay.
and a no. Okay.
Oh.
All right. Okay. Which is, I mean, the only reason this other one is a no. But Dr. Termers, he gets over. You see him get over to where they've brought in these recent boxes. They've set them down, so he gets just inside of the building to where the boxes are at. He scampers up the side of one of them, uses his weird tail hand to like pry open some boards, sticks his head in, squeezes his whole like forward torso in there, and you like see his little like round chubby ass like legs kicking as he's just like wiggling into the box. And after a moment, he pulls himself back out, looks around, and then like starts like scampering back in your direction. And as he's like getting out of the building and starting to cross the sidewalk, he stops for a moment, like he's startled by something. Looks to the side, looks back at Callie, and then he comes running your way and like jumps up into Callie's arms. And he proceeds to start squeakums. And he lets you know that inside of the box that he looked in, he saw a bunch of tools, like things that he recognizes from Callie's workshop. So he saw a bunch of tools, but mixed in with those tools, he also says that there were some oily, slimy, stinky bags full of something soft and mushy.
Is that a fucking poop bag?
Pooper? Is that poop?
No, it didn't smell like poop. It didn't smell like
rotting meat.
But it was. Yeah, I would say
rotting
that
meat's got a sickly, sweet smell to it.
Yeah, I would say that Dr. Tremors, being the carnivore that he is, would tell Callie that smelled kind of like fish left in the sun for too long.
Fish.
Mm.
You know what that means? Fish.
Fish. Stupid names.
Okay. Nothing like stony or
What
like
is the-
glowy.
He didn't open the bag, but he said it was soft and it was squishy and it was oily and it had the smell of fish that was no longer tasty because it had been left out in the sun for too long.
Can I do a check to maybe try to discern what that might be?
Make a Well, yeah. It won't exactly help very much.
Make a craft check.
Yeah, make a craft check. DC 30.
Oh
yeah,
man.
sure.
Hey, there you go. Not 20.
My goodness.
Okay. Well, like I said, it's not going to help that much. But Callie is 100% certain whatever the f is in that bag is not any sort of like standard building material or like industrial chemical, alchemical stuff that like you're aware of. It's either something that is completely foreign to all of the work that you've ever done in that space, or it has nothing to do with it. It is definitely not anything to do with construction or anything else like all of the other tools would imply.
Well, that could be anything. So.
Yeah, but you are 100% certain that's not a standard building tool.
Callie says to Tim, "Do you think this is a red herring?"
In what way?
Well, I mean, they're out in the open. These boxes are just being delivered out in the open. If this is Viva Machina, it's almost like they're just pretentiously not hiding themselves, if that makes any sense.
I think it could be one of the situations of like a front. They're using a legitimate business to move illegitimate goods underneath it.
That it could be the case. Now, the question is, are these illegitimate goods soul stones or something else?
Well, if these are the same people that made me and Tim taps his soul gem, then it absolutely has to be.
Do you think it would be a good idea to follow where the sled goes?
Potentially.
That is true.
I think I will be running watch again tonight, and it seems like consistently, at the very least, one sled rolls past the front of the inn that we're staying at. So tonight, if you want to, I can either get you up or get everybody up when they're around the time when they would fly past, and maybe we can follow them.
Alright. I think that would be a good idea, yes.
Okay. On to Ezek.
I hear furious typing and I'm worried.
You should see, I've filled 3 pages of my notebook with just today's session.
Alright, who was next on?
Okay. All right. So,
I need to roll a diplomacy check.
No.
Okay.
No diplomacy check there. However, Torque, she finishes up with her gathering information, and so while you guys are like scoping things out, Torque, finishes up just chewing the fat with some of the other people who work here on this side of town, and like she wanders back over to the party, kind of like glances over her shoulder a little bit, make sure that nobody's paying strict attention to you guys, and she's like, okay, so I've been asking around, and as far as I can tell, Aj is like the boss around here. Aj runs like the big processing plant. I'm not, like, Callie could probably explain this better, but like apparently raw materials come out of the mines around here,
Oh.
like the Copper Depths and the Avalon Shaft that's over there, and like the Mage Fall place that's somewhere over in that direction, and they bring it here for processing, and they do processing here. I don't know what that means, by the way. I felt that was kind of too deep for me to ask, but they do processing of some sort, and then it goes to market. And apparently Aj is the one who is in charge of that processing stuff. So whoever Aj is, which also I can confirm it is a she. Everyone used feminine pronouns talking about Aj. But also, like, nobody said anything about like talking to Aj or like interacting with her or anything. It's just like she's the boss, and like she sends out pages and other people to like do shopping and stuff. Yeah, but yeah, she's some lady who's in charge of things. One guy did say that she's been in charge like for like a really long time too.
How long? Did they say like specific time?
They didn't give me specifics, but he was kind of an older guy, and the way he talked about it, he said that he used to work for the processing plant or whatever the hell they call it, and like that was when he was young and had to be 60.
Oh.
She's been around a while.
Callie looks at Tim's like, do you think this Aj is some kind of like undead or automaton or something?
Nobody referred to her that way. I mean, it was just weird. Like, I noticed when I was asking about it that nobody seemed to have any sort of like personal interactions with her. You know, like nobody ever just talked to her on the street or whatever. It was all in context of working for her. Well, I mean, like they met her, it seems, in person, but like it was in context of the job, like on the job at the processing place.
This processing plant.
Tim goes on and goes, did they happen to describe it as, and then Tim describes the place that they found?
You mean that building over there? Like
yeah, Tim points to it. It's like that one. Well, maybe. Actually, yeah, I was gonna say,
maybe, yeah. Like, no one, like, everybody talked about it like they, like, you know, like it, like that information was a given. You would just know which building, you know. Yeah. And I never asked, like, what's the actual address is. But
processing plant would be. Maybe it would be a good idea to ask where the processing plant is. Do some investigation over there, I guess.
I mean, yeah, I could just go like ask directly. I mean, we are foreigners, so
it
like,
makes sense for us.
It wouldn't be weird. Yeah. Okay, I'll be right back. Let me go get the address. And then Torque turns around and like, you know, scampers off to where she was last talking to some guys, and she comes back like literally a minute later. And yeah, that building.
Knew it.
Although apparently it's not just that building; it's apparently several buildings. Like this whole block apparently is the processing plant.
Oh damn! Callie looks at Tim's like, "Do you think we should still bring this info to the Empire, or do you think like we should?" Maybe investigate this building now.
Well, it sounds like this. What was the name again? I'm sorry, out of character.
Aj.
Yeah, Aj. Okay. It sounds like this Aj person and Olgi are working together. And
true.
Assuming that the Jarl isn't also in the loop with this, that means 2 out of the 3 big players in this city are in cahoots with each other.
True.
And then I can only assume that the Dawn Castle has their own. So Tim like
Oh, shit.
Tim takes like a moment to really consider. It's like, okay, I guess that makes sense that the 4 groups ruling this city are also doing 4 distinct things that all seem to be in their own interest. Huh.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Gotcha.
Tim is gonna like mark off the stuff on the buildings, and is like, I don't think that this all seems to be like this city, and the Empire just so happens to be in this city. I don't know if it's like the Empire is working with any of the groups. I think they're just stationed here. So I think the Empire still might be our best bet.
I mean, yeah, we haven't seen any evidence that would prove to the contrary. So.
Yeah, they've been working with them, but that's basically what the Empire would do if stationed in any city.
That is, in fact, true. So you thinking we should investigate this place at night and then go talk to the Empire, or go talk to the Empire and then investigate this place at night?
I think talking to the Empire and then investigating at night would be a good idea.
All right, yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Because then, at the very least, if you know, we tell the Empire stuff and then we come here tonight and this place is like buzzing a little bit, we know that there might be a connection.
I do have a question. How much was that that construct that person was selling? How much were they going for?
The Earth Mover.
Yes.
The Earth Mover construct. The fucking backhoe. They want a like handy dandy 1,500 gold.
1,500. All right, you know. Yeah, we'll cut our losses. Let's go talk to the Empire now.
Yeah, Tim technically has almost 1,000, but later. We'll look at it later.
That's why people rent tractors.
All right, I will make a note on my DM notes here. Possible Grand Theft tractor later on.
Grand Theft agriculture.
We gotta mark that on the map. We gotta do some theft.
Okay, you know what? Hold on.
How else are we gonna terraform the land over there at Casimir?
I mean,
that's true.
I mean, also,
not terraforming.
You know, I mean, the other place that you saw these like Earth Movers, the other place that you saw them, was at the other. Like the gold mine that was also run by the Avalon company.
Oh yeah, those ones. Yeah.
Might be connected. God, we're getting it's funny. We're getting the overarching villains of this. This is me talking out of character. We're getting the overarching
company.
Yeah.
Oh man,
this feels cyberpunk.
Evil? Who would
the big companies being evil, man.
Especially the mining company. Who would have thunk?
them big corporations being evil and shit.
Even back in the
who would have imagined?
Who could have done the thing?
Go to the Play Hard Field, which I think is still a weird fucking name, but you know.
Play Hard Field.
They play hard over in that field.
Well, if you hard, you hard.
And Tim is tungsten hard, in that he has tungsten in his body.
Yes.
Is that? You know what? I won't ask. No, I'm not going there. No, we're not asking that question.
It's aluminum. Don't worry.
Oh. What's the crush value of like?
Hey, not strong enough.
Yes, I was thinking.
Okay.
Alrighty.
All right. I just want to make a note on here. Grand Theft Dozer.
Alright. Yeah.
Dozer.
Grand.
As somebody who has
Grand
recently
Theft
driven a
Dozer.
backhoe, it is not fast enough to
Yeah,
grand
it's
theft. You
not,
gotta
like-
Well, I
I mean,
mean,
we gotta make it disappear. We can't drive it away.
we got the
Hey.
workshop door for that. Okay, we just drive it through the workshop door and it
As-
disappears out of sight. Out of mind.
As someone related to multiple people who have committed Grand Theft Dozer, I can tell you, you can get away with one
That's true.
if you're both smart and reckless enough. If you don't care enough about your
property
own
value.
if you care
look
nothing
like
about
you're
property
supposed
value or your own life, you can get away.
If you just look like you're supposed to be driving it, then you won't be questioned.
We just put Callie in a high vis vest and a hard hat.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I
they
mean,
never
it would
know.
work. Yeah. I mean, they wouldn't question a fish girl emanating fey
Yeah.
magic, you know.
Yeah, nobody would question that. So long as she's wearing a hard hat.
Aren't you a little
and-
young to be driving
A tractor.
a tractor?
Uh,
Yes, I am.
Okay, so
Operation Finish and Verve is a go.
Alright, so-
Operation
real
I
question:
know what we're doing
Um,
today.
where is the party headed off to next?
Probably over the play hard field with all the Imperials, right?
All right.
Talk to Imperials, yeah.
Okay.
Talk to the officer.
Okay,
Edis.
so you guys travel
Officer Edis.
through the light road. You leave the town, and when you guys get to about roughly here, like 2-3 blocks away from the walls, everyone can feel like the ever so slight relaxation of the curse effect. If you were under the curse effect, but not critically, like Torque is, it would end. But because Torque is critically failed that save, it is permanent on her. But beyond this, point, but beyond this point, you are not you're outside of the area. So the party leaves the area. You guys get over here to the Dunwest River, which is a very large, wide, slow-moving river that's got a little bit of ice, like on the edges, but it is perfectly free. And while it's not represented here on the map, there are actually quite a lot of bridges, like arched bridges that allow for large, like cargo boats to, cruise on down the river, which yeah. So like the Panama Canal, or if you've ever been over near the Ohio, it's a lot like that. Where there are cargo ships and barges moving up and down, as well as the occasional like relatively smallish, rowboat size like personal craft kind of thing. But mostly it's large transport ships. This is a combination of like river boats and also boats that are all-terrain boats, in that they can be both in river and in ocean.
Okay.
But yeah, so that's just going on, and you guys move over here to Play Hard Field. So Play Hard Field. Let me bring up my notes on Play Hard Field so I can tell you what's going on over here.
What the fuck is going on?
What the fuck? All right. So over here, first and foremost, Wolf Rise is very heavily Imperial. It is so heavily Imperial, it's almost like you're not in Uxland. You're in some sort of like Imperial section, some regular like Imperial town. This is vastly like personal, buildings, just like where people live at. But there are also like intermixed shops, taverns, restaurants, all that sort of stuff. And they have like, honestly, in the Empire, you don't see the Imperial flag very often. Like, you see it at official buildings and stuff like that. But like here, every other building has the Imperial banner just like draped across it of like, we are Imperial. We
We're
sell
Imperial!
goods. So yeah, they're being very like obvious on like who they are, where they come from, all that sort of stuff. Like the slight, vaguely Russian sort of accent that most of the Uxlanders have, like fades out. Like just in conversation around you as you get in here until like it sounds like you're in fucking downtown Brooklyn.
Oh
and
Yeah.
like it is a wild change, and the fact that you guys are mostly of Imperial backgrounds yourselves, it is honestly like a lot like going home, but also there's a vague sort of like performativeness to it. It's like someone's being really obviously Imperial. Like supercharging the culture, kind of like.
There's a McOwlbears here.
Fuck yeah, there is.
Fuck yeah.
Actually, who's making that noise?
It's Jay.
Who's making that noise?
I was about to ping them. Yeah.
Jay!
Is that the fucking balloon boy?
Jay! Hello?
Jay!
Oh my god, Jay, hello?
What happened? What happened?
What's making that damn noise?
Wait, what?
We heard like
the noise.
Yeah, we can hear it.
How the fuck? Wait, what?
Good question, bro.
We can hear it, Jay.
I'm wearing. What the fuck?
I don't know, Jay, but it was weird when it was coming in.
Yeah.
I heard like the balloon boy.
All I'm gonna say is I peeled up a meme. All I'm gonna say is I peeled up a meme. Something was sent to me, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Okay then.
Oh,
well,
alrighty,
that explains
then,
it. That explains it. Fair enough.
Alrighty,
Okay.
So, yeah. So either way, though, like I said, there's a little bit of a performative vibe going on because you guys are essentially in Little Empire, part of the like town. Think like Little Chinatown or anything like that. But this is Imperial. So either way, when you guys get over here, the Imperial presence, like I said, is all over the place. And in the field specifically is a large area, very similar to the fairgrounds back in the walled part of the city. But out here, it's much more spread out. They very clearly have set up a like paddock for horses and other mounts. They have places that are marked off, like they have cleared snow. They have padded down the earth parts so that they are like hard packed, and all that sort of stuff, because they have set up to like do jousting and various sports, and all of that sort of stuff. And
sports.
It is hell yeah, sports, and it is very active at the moment. So like it is real active, and there are quite a lot of people around. And as you guys are approaching the field, like they've even got like a section that has like a couple of food merchants like over to the side where there's like basically like food carts that are set up that are like selling various types of food and all that like sort of jazz. They're who are kind of milling around, just sort of like watching like other people like practice for the sports stuff. Now this map's going to look a little empty because I haven't had the opportunity to like slap down NPCs, but I'm just going to show you what it looks like real quick because I got this map set up.
Yes.
God damn it!
I was wondering. I was wondering if you were frustrated that we hadn't seen a map outside of this one when you worked so hard to see much of maps.
So,
God damn it! Go where I have a map.
So this is what the Play Hard field looks like.
Short, you eating grapes?
She do be eating grapes. I don't know how she got over there, but she be over there. She over there eating grapes.
What are you? How did you get up there?
What are those?
Gregory, how did you get up here?
But yes, so here we have this nice big like area, and there is a lot of people just sort of like milling about. Like I said, I didn't have time to put. Didn't have time to put NPCs down on here, but just imagine.
Pheno Workshop. Hey, I work for the Pheno Workshop. We sell weapons. Here's my card. Hey, I'm a representative of the Pheno Workshop. Here's my card. We sell weapons.
We sell weapons.
She made this and pulled out his barricade buster.
Sir, this is a win.
I'm
okay.
so sorry. I'll have to be right back.
Okay, but yeah. Otherwise, there's a good. However, though, and nobody for this, there is also just a vibe that is here that you guys very easily detect. That is just sort of tension. Like there's a palpable tension in the air amongst the crowd. Like everyone's here. They seem to be generally having a good time. They're either like watching the like the soldiers on horseback practice for jousting or the other sports that are going on, and everyone seems to be relatively relaxed, but at the same time you just got this feeling that everyone is also ever so slightly on edge.
Can I do a check to see why?
Well, you can again attempt to gather information about that, or you can just directly ask somebody. You can just directly ask
I'll
somebody.
just ask. Yeah. Cal goes to the next person. He's like, why is there so why is there so much tension around this area?
Random imperial soldier who's currently off duty looks over at Callie and and he raises his eyebrow the fuck are you talking about sort of way, and then he looks Callie up and down and glances at the rest of the party. He's like, oh, are y'all new in town?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, we saw
humble merchants. Humble merchants.
What I miss? I'm back, by the way.
Oh,
Tim walking.
We're all just handing out business cards.
Yeah,
handing out business cards for the Pheno Workshop.
And everybody kind of picked up that there was some tension, something going on, and then Callie was just like, fuck it, I'm just gonna ask. And so she just asks some off-duty soldier guy who's just here to watch the other guys run around on horseback practicing jousting. She asks him, hey, what's up with this tension in the air? And his first question was oh, are you guys not from, are y'all new in town? And Callie was like, yeah. So he kind of looks at the party, and then he looks back at Callie and he's like, I guess you kind of catch us at a bad time, really.
A bad time?
Well, we're... Okay, so it has been... I don't know if you've been in Uxlan recently or if you're just through the portal or whatever, but for those of us who've been here, the winter's been kind of rough.
Oh, tell me about it, Callie says, remembering all the nights where she was having to be on deck during the blizzard.
Yeah, the winter's been rough, and the weather is finally starting to turn a little bit. It's still cold as shit, but at least it's pretty. And he just kind of gestures out over the fields and the buildings, and you can see the forested mountains, you know, in the distance and all that sort of stuff. And it is genuinely very attractive scenery. And he's like, at least it's pretty, and the weather isn't stormy, and it has just been keeping us in for a long time. And
true. Callie then says, however, I feel like you're like trying to get us off topic here by talking about the scenery.
Look, what I'm saying is that we've been trapped inside for a while due to all of the weather, and and he does like he stops, glances around, and then he lowers his voice and he says, and there's been some murders.
Back.
There's been some murders.
Who wants to talk about murder?
And so everybody's kind of just on edge, and we're finally getting the opportunity to get out and
I may ask, how many murders was it? Callie says, pulling out a notebook.
Well, fuck, man, I don't know exact numbers, but I know at least 5.
Oh,
5 murders.
5 murders
in a row.
Callie, like.
Yeah, in a row.
Oh.
Like in a short time period.
How many fucking Draugr did we fight again? It was 5, right?
You fought 6 Draugr.
Well, there was 6,
okay.
but we fought 5.
Yeah, we fought 5. It was 6. Okay, yeah.
But yeah, he said that he says that there were 5 murders that he's aware of. And he tells Callie that these were gruesome, and it was he doesn't know like the strict details or anything like that, but like they were all Imperial, and it was 2 children and 3 adults, which all died in relatively quick succession, like over the course of a week. And each one of them was found outside of their homes, in the streets, burnt to a crisp.
Yeah, that seems very, like, weird.
Yeah, and like...
Burnt to a crisp in this cold-ass weather, bro. It would be fucking hard to start a goddamn fire, let alone burn them to a crisp.
Yeah, and I mean, like, we had a lot of, I was told that there was a lot of trouble identifying them because of how much damage was done. And again, I don't know this specifically, okay? I don't want to, like, look, this is just what I've heard, but, like, obviously, of course, we raised a stink about it to, the guards and everything. And if we were in the Empire, like, they would be on this shit. They'd be taking care of it. But apparently here in Uxlan, they got better shit to do. I don't know what that shit is, but, they had better stuff to do than help out. So.
And it's like,
Sounds suspicious.
That's not great, Callie says.
If the death of your citizens is not as important, feels like, then maybe the death's not just accidents.
Are you saying this out loud?
I've got to
well, Tim is saying this to Callie in Draconic.
Okay.
Because I think that's the only one that they share.
Yeah. Well, if it's in Draconic, Callie's gonna be like, hope if that's the case, hope they might not hear us out. Which would be bad.
Valeria can also speak Draconic.
Okay. All right. Let me. All right. So you guys are discussing this in Draconic. I need to roll of dice while you guys are discussing stuff.
Yeah, Laria can also speak Draconic too.
This is not good, gentlemen.
Failures.
Callie then asks the guard while we're discussing this in Draconic, where's Officer Edifice?
Oh, you mean Officer Edis?
Yeah, that guy. Yeah. Sorry, I'm bad with names.
Okay, yeah. Well, he's either A, going to be over there in the paddock with his horses, or more likely, he's going to be over there in the keep, in the main part of town, in his, fancy schmancy office. What with its like built-in heating and everything. Why do you want to talk to that guy?
We just have some questions we have for him.
We just have a couple questions, and we were told he was like the main Imperial guy here or whatever.
Oh God, is that what they're telling you now? Fuck.
Well, I mean that's what Commander Wine said or whatever.
Commander Vine, that guy?
Yeah, Vine. Sorry.
Look. Between us Imperials, Vine, I think he's a fairly stand-up dude. Edisk, though, like, that man is look, that's not a man. That is a weasel in a man suit.
Oh. Well,
And, like, he is the reason that we are not getting adequate security here. So if you go talk to him, don't give him my name, but if you could communicate like some frustration like in his face, that would be, I don't know, cathartic.
Well, we'll do our best, I guess. I guess.
Yeah, we'll let him know. We'll let him know your general disdain.
Thanks. Thanks. I would appreciate that, actually. Because, like, man, if they don't find who's ever fucking setting people on goddamn fire and leaving them in the middle of, like, children, for crying out loud.
Wait.
We're gonna have a riot.
There was a kid?
Yeah. It was...
Two of them were children.
Yeah, two of them
were children.
Well, I mean, like, one of them was like a child. The other was more like a teenager, But like,
well,
Tim crouches down to Callie, is speaking again, and Draconic is like, "This is the second city we've been to where there's been mysterious deaths that involve children. I think that there might be a problem in Uxmal."
Callie says back at Draconic, "You think? This place is fucking weird." Callie's like, their whole culture is like they're okay with bringing back their dead loved ones as guards or whatever. That's kind of fucking weird.
All right.
And they called us the outsiders. Jeez.
For us. We're the weird outsiders.
You are the weird outsiders.
Yeah.
Wow, that got him.
Okay. All right. So,
we're gonna go talk to Officer Edifice now.
You're gonna go talk to Edisk. Okay. So you go to talk to Edisk. As it turns out, Edisk is not at Play Hardfield. He would be back at his office.
Wow, what a dick.
Crap.
However,
are you alright?
Got a cramp?
Yeah, I just got a cramp on my foot. My
Aye!
My toe is really like one individual toe is bent, but not the rest.
They're like spread them apart. Spread them apart.
Spread it.
No, for real. Spread them apart.
Assume the position and spread them. Okay.
No, the worst I've gotten is that they try to like
kind of like twist across each other. That's the kind of cramp I always get.
That's
Oh, bro,
Yeah.
you think you're talking about that? Imagine me, because I used to do swim. I got the worst fucking cramps in my legs and my feet, bro. That shit was fucking awful, dude. That shit was terrible. Debilitating.
Hey,
How's the dog doing?
Oh,
JJ.
yeah.
J. Jonah. Could you open up Jamal's sheet and click on perception for me?
You boy. Also, I had to mute myself to figure out how the hell did I realize my headset just fucking loud.
It'd be like that.
I mean, sometimes it do be like that.
Did you drew that?
Okay then. All right. Okay. So.
Oh, it's a gift.
Alrighty. So anyway,
so I started blasting. I'm sorry.
I mean, so you started blasting. Okay. So, dip to do flibbity jibbity. Gabbly bass. Okay. Okay, so then I also would yeah, okay. All right. Cool. Then the next thing I need is I do need June to make a perception check.
Okay. Perception check. Perception. Oh, it's a 28.
Oh, nice. Cool. Good indeed. Okay, so first of all, other than, like the vague tension and everything going on, you guys go over to, the horses are in the paddock and ask around if Edis is there, and he isn't. But there's a couple of people who are a part of his entourage, basically, that are there looking after his horses, and they're like, "Oh no, if you're looking for Officer Edis, he's going to be back at his office, back at the keep, back at Fort Argyle. Give me just a quick second."
Mm-hmm.
What do you do in my room? Oh God!
Okay.
Spider!
Okay. So, anyway, yeah, so there's a couple of lesser officers who are there, who let you know that he's back at he's going to be back at the keep. So, if you want to talk to him, you're going to have to back over there. He is apparently, according to them, stuck in meetings all day. And one of them tells you that he's probably the reason he's over there today and not over here where he would rather be, according to in their opinion, where he would rather be would be here with the horses, jousting with the other dudes, because he is a jouster. He likes jousting with other men.
Fuck yeah.
But Edis is, according to them, probably over at his office, probably is going to be in quote unquote meetings all day, and he's probably lining up another meeting with the Pathfinder. And when they say that, there's this eye roll that you get from them that's very much this yeah, he's going to have a meeting with the Pathfinders. That's what's going on. So, if you get there and they tell you he's too busy or whatever, that's what's happening.
Maybe that's who we should speak to next, is the Pathfinders, honestly.
Pathfinders Guild.
That keeps being being teased a lot. There's a lot of people talking in this fucking city.
Well, I mean,
Fucking.
well,
Commander
technically
Ryan
we are
and-
like Pathfinder
We're
members,
part of the
right?
Pathfinders.
Yeah, we like honorary
Yeah,
Pathfinder
yeah.
members after we did that quest.
That is true. We could just walk in there and be like, "Hey, yo, we're part of the Pathfinders. We can talk with Officer Oedipus or whatever." His name gets worse and worse the more I talk about it.
To be clear, you guys are legally members of the Pathfinder Society.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's like we're not
Yeah.
even honorary. It's just straight up, we are Pathfinders.
Yeah, you are straight up members of the society. You haven't done anything to really put like
All right, yeah, I think
you know,
you guys think that'd be a
guild
good idea
respect
to
on your
go-
name, but like you are members.
Yeah, it'd be a good idea to just like waltz to there, be like, "Hey, yo, we're part of the Pathfinder Society and whatnot, and we got to go talk to Officer Oedipus or whatever."
Bed piss.
I'm gonna say it.
Officer bed full of piss.
Oedipus, the famous Greek tragedy, Oedipus.
So is that where we're going to like interrupt the meeting?
It sounds like that's what you're doing.
Well, let's boogie.
Yeah, it was boogie.
Let's Bugatti.
All right.
Let's baguette.
I mean, if anybody,
You bag it?
if anybody
No,
can do
we're not
something
French.
about evil shit, it's the Pathfinders, right? That's like their job.
It is true.
I mean that is
Maybe.
kind of their job.
Only good people work with the Pathfinders Guild.
Kind of.
Callie looks at
I don't know about that one.
Callie looks at Tim when he says that. He's like, "Sure, buddy."
Using his brand new 14 to deception, he goes, "They're definitely all good people."
Definitely. 100% all good people.
And nobody can ever say that with a straight face.
They're not
Okay.
just evil bandits or something.
So, you guys head back over to Oglyre Fortress and head over to specifically Edisk's office. And Edisk has an office which is at the base of one of the towers. So, you guys head over there, and when you go in through the main room and whatever, there is like secretary there who is also very clearly Imperial, who lets you know that like Officer Edisk is in fact here in the office today. However, he is currently having a meeting with a Pathfinder. If you want to wait a little bit, they'll probably be done soon. And then you can talk to Edisk.
Tim slides his thumb under a pin on his coat that has like the Pathfinders Guild thing on it. It's like, oh, we know he's with the Pathfinders.
Oh yeah, we know. We're here to meet Officer Edifact. Yeah.
You see the secretary calm and polite to like she's like processing like how do I handle this? How do I handle this?
Can I do some kind of check? Is like, are these meetings like genuine meetings, or are these like he's having somebody from the Pathfinders Guild pop by for something?
You know what? You know what, Tim? Make me a.
It's a casual visit, is what you're saying?
Just because the way they keep saying Pathfinders meeting is like, you're not telling me the whole story. Somebody from Pathfinders is pulling up, but are they talking about Pathfinders shit?
Tim,
Mhm.
I want you to make me a diplomacy check.
Wow.
Can I get aid from Brick?
Sure.
It's 32.
Okay. So, there's a little bit of sweating, a little bit of kind of like some quick back and forth with the secretary, and the vibe that you are the
vibe.
The vibe that you are getting is that Edisk, for reasons that the secretary claims to not know, called the Pathfinders here, and she does say Pathfinders plural. Called the Pathfinders here for some reason, some official business, and has had them bring by daily updates on whatever it is that they're doing to him directly. And she doesn't know what the specifics of that is, but you are very much picking up the like vibe that even the secretary thinks that Edisk and the Pathfinder or Pathfinders is doing something in the office that is, more than just discussing something. Kind of like you're definitely getting that vibe. Well, there's something going on in that is probably related to business, but
Tim fucking straightens his shirt, grabs his goddamn packet that he's got full of all the shit that was under the building, and goes, either I'm gonna walk in there on some actual conversations and we can have a cordial talk, or I'm about to cuckold this fucking bastard and figure out some shit. One way or another, I'm getting answers, and I'm just gonna walk towards the door.
Wait a minute.
Oh my God.
Wait, before you do that.
Wait.
I'm not kicking the door down, but I'm gonna knock.
That, Callie's like, hold on a second here. And then she pulls up Dr. Trevor's gun and is like, exactly what is Officer Eda Factor, named getting worse and worse, doing? Go find out, Dr. Trevor's.
Just do this around the secretary? Or what?
Oh no, this is definitely not around the secretary.
Well, that's going to be a bit difficult because the secretary is. You literally have a single room with a door that goes to his private office. So, however, when Tim was very much like the I'm going to go in kind of thing, like she gives Tim kind of a wide eye, like, ooh, that maybe not be a good thing, but like she does not move to stop him. So
I'm gonna go because I've weighed this. I'm like, this the worst that can happen is they tell us to leave again, and then they're just not going to get whatever information, and we do what we were going to do anyway. So,
I do have sort of an idea. If you're gonna barge in, if you're gonna be a distraction, I was thinking just like sneak around and steal some important documents or something, but.
Okay, is Callie a kleptomania or something? Because every time they go to someplace, they're like, "I'm gonna steal this thing. I'm just taking this. It's mine now."
Okay,
I'm just gonna steal things.
In this instance, it's important.
This one kind of makes sense. If this is the shit, if we're inside the fortress where the building is, might be good to have some stuff. But I would say hold off a minute. Let me get in there and see what all is going on, and then you can weigh your options after I've broken down this door.
Yeah, I think that's what we get done first. Yeah.
That is true.
Tim's just gonna Tim's gonna first knock. Just like get up to the door and knock. See if he gets any response.
Okay. You get up to the door and knock. You don't need to make a perception check or anything like that, but you hear movement in the room beyond. You hear the swish of cloth, the clink of metal. And that kind of noise of that kind of noise.
Redressing.
I mean, does it sound like somebody rapidly trying to buckle a belt? I mean, yeah, kind of. So
Tim counts to 5 in his head, and then when he gets to 5, he's opening the door.
Okay. All right then.
Whatever state they're in when he gets in there is what they're in.
We're gonna be thrown in jail.
All right.
For what?
Tim.
Watching this man.
Tim, I need you to make
Wait.
an athletics check.
All right.
Oh,
hold on.
Bro's gonna be fighting some guards right about to.
I need you to make an
I
athletics
will
check.
take I will take assurance and make that a 24.
Oh my god, what the hell? What happened to my model?
Okay.
Oh. Hang on, I need to ignore me. I'm just gonna reset.
Is on screen June going wild?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, Tim, with your assurance, with your 24, you jingle jangle the door. It does not open immediately, which is why you need to apply force to push open the door, and you pop, this very low quality lock on this, office door, and you swing open the door into a, casually lit office space. That's not a very big space. It's like maybe about 25 feet wide. It's got kind of like a semicircle, sort of like back wall that has a few narrow windows, because this is part of a tower. So you've got this at its widest point, 25-foot wide semicircle shaped room, and on the far end of the room, opposite of where there is a big desk, which is covered in paper, writing implements, various little books, some little statues, just little decoration things, anything that you would expect in an office. All the furniture is what you would expect in an office. And behind that desk, in a chair, is Officer Edisk. He looks particularly pale, in the face, and he is definitely sitting there really he's kind of he's both leaning back in his honestly very nice chair. He's leaning back in his nice office chair, but he's also really stiff.
Is he particularly close to the desk?
Well, I mean, yeah, he's right next to the desk, and his chair is rotated slightly, so he's not facing the desk directly. He's kind of turned a little bit to the side, and you can see on the side of the desk, around the side of the desk, you see something reddish colored, maybe a snake tail or something like that slithers around the side, around the corner of the desk, out of sight. But he just locks eyes on you, and he clears his throat and he says, "Can I help you? I believe I left specifically words with my secretary."
I'm here with, he flashes the thing. I'm here with the Pathfinders Guild. I heard you were in a meeting with some people from the Pathfinders Guild. He looks around and notices that there's really nobody in the room.
Yeah, there's no one obviously in the room.
Oh, poor Tim.
Oh no.
No, poor for this man is what you mean.
Tim starts taking a couple slow steps towards the desk.
Yep. For the rest of y'all, as Tim has gone in there and y'all are seeing this, the secretary, that was outside, she isn't saying anything, but she has been slowly leaning in her chair so that she can see through the door and see what's going on. She's just slowly leaning over.
Kyra's gonna make her way into the room and just be like, what's the worst that could happen, I guess?
Tim's gonna...
In fact, the worst that could happen.
As Tim gets closer, he's like, "So, I'm here with the Pathfinders Guild. We're kind of independent, but we work with them. So I figured if you were having a meeting with them, we would be somewhat welcome, especially if we come with particularly important information for this city. But I suppose I must have been wrong, because I don't see anybody else in here. So,
Well, if you must know, the official meeting that I was having with the Pathfinder, and he just like adjusts himself in the seat a little bit, and he brings up both of his hands, which the desk, but he brings up both of his hands to like steeple his fingers together, and he's like,
Is there any moisture on either of his hands?
Oh god, alright, what the
Okay, easy.
Okay, first of all, he will not be doing that.
Okay.
no, there isn't. But he brings his hands up to staple them, and he says, "The meeting ran a little bit long, and I figured I would take a lunch, and I didn't update my secretary on that. I suppose you've caught me in a moment of indelicacy, but
what you smell, Jamal?
Oh, Jamal smells something. Please tell me Jamal smells something with that 35.
What's that smell like?
Oh, Jamal has smelt this smell before.
Oh no, not the party. Please don't tell me it's the party.
Wait, the party?
Is it the pirate?
That was a while ago, man.
Well, I mean, Jamal has smelled this smell many times. He is familiar with what he's getting a whiff of.
You said there was nobody else in the room, right?
Not everybody.
They see Jamal knows what's going on.
Nobody else, right?
Yeah, nobody else. No one else that you can see. It looks like it's just Tim and
Did Tim I have to ask, did Tim take the door off the hinges?
No, just
no. He just.
I just put a little.
Oh, okay. Then Kelly's gonna like close the door and then lock it from this side. You know.
I assume after you walk into the room. Right?
Everyone else too. Also, yeah, us too.
I mean, if you guys want to come in, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure
Jamal
was sniffing and he went in there anyway. He's like,
Torque and Ruthie are not going to let this pass. There's no way they're letting this happen.
June
Everybody
gives the
coming
secretarial.
in?
June gives the. Can I roll like a stealth for June just to like wave to the secretary behind her back to the.
Yeah, you know what? Give me a diplomacy check, and I'm going to give you. I'll give you fortune on this one.
All right, diplomacy.
Diplomacy with fortune. Yeah, fine. All right. So yeah, like, as the door's like being closed, all that sort of stuff, and you like, look back at the secretary and like give her like, a little finger wiggle wave. She communicates through like eyebrows and like eye motions only that she's disappointed that she's not about to see whatever is going to go on in there. But otherwise, like, she has work to do, so that's what she's going to concern herself with. And definitely not like get up and immediately eavesdrop the door. She's definitely not going to do that. Yeah, Jamal, you know what you're smelling. You know what's going on. You know what's going on in here.
But is it all I want to ask is it the brain? Please tell me it's a smell of me and Seamus going into the fucking that building and all them fucking people.
It is not that strong, but it is definitely the exact same kind of like, things that make those smells.
I hate Jamal now. Have that scent and
Jamal would smell a vaguely familiar scent that isn't from that, but you have smelled it recently. You smell a hint of chicken. So,
wait, what was it? You smelled it?
Wait, what?
The dog is picking up a little bit of ode to chicken.
Oh.
So, Edisk, again, sort of like, sort of shifts in his chair, and then like, there's a bit of like a
Cal's
grind
gonna have
as he
Mr.
like
Servos fling
turns
the
the
desk.
chair.
Hold on, hey, hold on.
Hold up.
1 second.
Yeah, just don't cause a ruckus. Just,
Yeah, that's like...
Don't cause a ruckus.
That'll get us thrown in jail.
Here. What do you mean don't cause a ruckus? You've already caused a ruckus.
I'm like, syrup.
Tim will continue to walk
before you do anything.
Towards the desk, eventually until he's like directly in front of it, to where he can like stand over this man essentially. Once he gets to that point of the desk, can he see behind it?
Yes, you can.
Is there anybody back there?
Yeah, there is. There's a human-sized individual wearing a winter cloak, complete with hood and all that sort of stuff, who is just sitting, like on their ass with their their knees tucked up, and they've got their arms like wrapped around their legs or whatnot. And like they're currently wiggling their like pink little toes, and which you can see as they are barefoot. And there is definitely some third appendage that's coming out the backside that is just kind of moving around tentacle-like, bonelessly. Underneath it. So yeah, they're just sitting there, and Edisk rotates his chair so that he's facing the desk and he's facing Tim directly, and he he leans like a little bit forward, that whole like, hey, you came over here to talk to me, so look at me, kind of like that. And he says, you bring important information to me about this town. What information could be so important that you would come in here and interrupt my lunch like this?
So Tim like for a minute goes, oh, like chicken, and then looks at the individual and then looks back at him. We have reason to believe that there is potentially a liar in a place of power. And then Tim is going to lay down all of the information that he has on everything that we found underneath the halls of or underneath that area near the hall. Even mentioning that, like, we even have reason to believe that Olgi is potentially connected to what we found under there.
Okay.
How does Tim smell chicken? He doesn't have a nose.
Oh,
I mean, that would be a good
that's
question,
true.
but like,
Brick
says,
can smell it.
But he says Olgi, the lady who does the embalming and the burial stuff. This doesn't have anything to do with. Look, okay. Let's back up here. Clearly, we're not on the same page. I was having a meeting with Pathfinders.
Tim like
earlier.
holds his hand up. Was that genuine? Was that genuinely you were having a Pathfinders meeting?
Yes, that was genuinely what was happening.
Understood.
Sure, buddy. Sure.
Technically, he's not lying. I mean, they did technically have a meeting that it was.
Yeah, but
meeting.
like meeting usually means talking and stuff. This is a little more than that.
Maybe said some words
things anyway. They might have said like two.
Liz fuck.
It was a casual meeting.
I'm like, okay, can I draw something in there? Please just draw something in there.
Sure.
Please let me do this. Can I let Jamal just go up to the desk and sniff around and intentionally make an officer look a bit suspicious? even though we kind of know what's happening. And
fuck?
Jamal just
Did you seriously just ask so he could go up and sniff him?
No,
like...
no, the desk. So Jamal won't be tricking like, hey, look, there's no way I'm smelling what I think I'm smelling. Even
You know
though I feel
what?
like it's
You know
obvious,
what?
but he
You
don't.
know what? You know what? Jamal, moves up close to the desk. Jamal, letting his sniffer just do what it do. And Jamal can clearly tell that there is the smell of two people coming from the desk. One of them is Officer Edisk. There's clearly a smell of Tim, just standing there on the other side. But around the desk, quite clearly, you can smell there's something else. There's another individual around the side of the desk. You see a pink-colored tentacle that comes around the edge of the desk for a moment, sort of feels the desk and then slithers back around out of view again. And Officer Edisk, he glances over at you approaching and everything. He glances at you and he just he gives you a little eyebrow raise of and then looks back at Tim. And
apparently I wasn't allowed to move the table, but fucking Jamal's allowed to go over.
There's a difference between.
Wait, we're trying to have this moment. Yeah. Please just let it happen.
Yeah,
there's a big difference here.
It's one Syrup. It's one thing for Jamal to Scooby-Doo sniff his way to the desk, and there's another thing for you have Mr. Servos.
I wasn't telling him to smash the table.
Well,
here we go. You heard me say Mr. Servos, and you assumed, oh my god, everything's falling apart.
Flips the table out of the way.
Yeah,
and I was
that's what you said.
Flip the entire table out of the and that was.
Okay, all right. Well, let's drop it. It didn't
Fucking
happen.
fine.
Let's drop it. It didn't happen. We're coming up here to the very end. Either way, everybody is clearly focused on the fact that Edisk is very obviously trying to edit, the situation by careful choice of his words of exactly what's going on. However, the party is very clear on what was probably going on here right as they showed up. Yes, so Jamal, you do smell another individual. You do smell that there was recent chicken eating going on, as well as, other stuff. Anyway, beyond all of that, Edisk looks back at Tim and he says, well, you've got to explain to me, and I'm going to give you 5 minutes to explain to me what information you're bringing here. Why is it important? How does it involve Olgi? And why I should care before I call the guards.
Understood.
I've got a good business relationship with the Pathfinders. We have worked well with each other, so I'd like to keep it that way.
And we also work with the Pathfinders. We have no issue with the Pathfinders. Our problem is with what seems to be going on in the underbellies of the city. We have reason to believe, after investigating a cellar beneath a residential building, that Draugr are being used to break apart and collect crypts and old coffins that are being held in reverence, and to be then collected. While that in and of itself might not be as major, there also seems to be a use of illegal and immoral resurrection of the undead. We have encountered a few Draugr that have not only been kept more sentient than the average.
I just wanted to point out before we said all of this that are we sure we don't want to identify the second person in the fucking room before we just dump all this important fucking information on him?
It's Boer.
I
don't mean to break character, but
I get it, but I'm like, should we want to trust them? Is what I'm saying.
Well, at the moment, Tim is explaining what's going on, whether we trust them or not. So, what was the last thing that you were saying?
Essentially, I was just going to say they've been using not only illegal but immoral magic and unholy magic at that to resurrect Draugr as essentially, I guess, more dangerous pagers is what you would call them. They had not only been given more sentience than most mindless Draugrs, but they have been installed mechanical machinery that allowed them to poison people with industrial degreaser.
All right.
And like Tim takes like some of the samples of the stuff that he took while he was taking those 10 minutes.
The samples that Cowley took that he's taking from
Edis glances at the evidence, and he does, and he does honestly, like, you can see him lock in on this thing that you're explaining to him, and then he takes a glance at it again, and he says, "So you mean to tell me? Let me make sure that I'm following. That Olgi, the priestess at the Hall of Rest, is somehow tied to immoral practices of raising the dead beyond what they generally allow here, and these undead have been not only more sentient than they are allowed to be, but also modified. They have been mechanically modified."
Yes.
To inflict poison.
We directly heard her voice speaking of an individual named Ejik. Was it Ejik?
Aji.
Aji.
Aja. Sorry,
I've got an Ejik and Ezik.
Aja. There we go. Okay.
Aja.
Bless you.
Okay.
Aj.
Well, unfortunately, I have to say that you have caught me completely by surprise with and then he kind of pushes himself a little bit back from the desk, looks down at the side of the desk, and just addresses the person there directly and says, "Do you know anything about this?" At which point, yes, standing up from behind the desk and dropping the last vestige of propriety that they weren't there, stands a Nephilim, clearly of human descent, roughly about as tall as June, has a very narrow aquiline, kind of like build and look to them, very androgynous, that sort of thing. But you can clearly see the horns underneath the hood, and they do have the tail, although the tail is also like a tentacle. Way. They stand up and they look over at you guys, give you kind of the up and down, and then look back at Edisk, and Boer says in kind of a weird accent that my group heard of something, but it was just rumor, and well, last night, and looks back at you guys, I did see these group moving out of one of the buildings over there, so I can confirm for you they were there last night. If any of this was going on, well, they were there. I guess they would know. I did not see any loose Draugr of any sort. Not the regular mindless kind or anything that was advanced. So I can't confirm that part. But they were there. I can't confirm that. Hello, by the way.
Pleasure to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you. My name is Boer. We find ourselves in an unusual situation. I and Officer Edisk were having lunch before we got here, and there was a short a sequence which led to a completely logical reason on sitting behind the desk on this side and not saying anything. Normal things would happen.
I had an
excuse
inkling
me.
when
I'm glad you have an inkling, but like I need to excuse myself. Bye. And then Boer just shambles around the desk and is
I must go now.
Super extra casual walk towards the door. And that's where we're going to end. That is where we are officially going to bring this to a close.
When the guest star leaves.
Okay.
30% of the Halfus crew is revealing. Oh my god.
Let's go.
Okay. So, yes. Alrighty. Well, now.
Okay.
Before we break. I do want. Okay, I understand that, sir, but like also I want to talk about exactly what just fucking happened there. Okay, when something like that happens, when there is a situation and you want your character to move fast and you want to do something.
Well, it's not even that. That's not even the reason I'm upset. I'm just upset because it seems like very often you guys just get real fucking mad when I want to do anything. Like Tim was getting mad earlier because I climbed the wall. And he was like, "Oh, why did you do that? We should have done it stealthily. You should have let me done it." It's like, fine, I guess.
Okay, sir.
But then it's like, I don't know. That seems to happen a lot, where it's like I do something with Callie, and then everybody gets fucking upset about it, or just tries to stop me or something, and it's like
Sir, please.
Hello? Hello? Can anybody hear me? Hello?
Oh shit! I think Discord's just shitting itself. Okay.
Okay, was that just me or was that everybody else?
No, Discord just shit itself.
Yeah, everything went might have been our internet or something. But like,
Damn.
I think it might just be.
No, I saw
Yeah.
like the fucking voice connect thing go from full 1, 2, full dead, and then just disconnect, reconnect, disconnect, reconnect.
Damn, even Discord.
Yeah, that was
called,
pretty wild.
Discord called a timeout.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Either way, just to smooth this all out, and this is for everybody. If we have a situation like that where where you want to do something with your character, and suddenly it seems like everyone's like, no, don't do that, or seems to be getting upset. I do think that is a point where we actually need to stop, and we need to quickly take a step back to be like, what exactly do you want to do, so that everybody's on the same page before just assuming that things are going to like spill out all over the different direction. If like Callie had wanted Mr. Servos to like grab the desk and move it and reveal Boer early, that would have been perfectly fine. Like I can narratively like interpret all of that and go on through things. So like doing actions like that is not forbidden or anything like that. I'm just saying that whenever we have a situation where somebody says that they want to do something and then like 3 or 4 other people are like, no, or whatever, I do think that is a moment where we as players need to take a step back and just quickly take a head count of like, okay, what exactly do you want to do and whatnot, so that you can explain what you do and no one is making assumptions on what you want to do, and trying to, like, you know, guide the narrative the way that they may want to. So that's just what I want to make sure that is said, that is nailed down, that is a thing that we as a playing group, as just a group of people, regular humans, just need to fucking deal with in that situation. And of course, it doesn't help when Discord wants to, like, shit the bed on all of us at the same time.
I also,
I don't know, it just annoys me because it's like, you always, like, I always seem to be getting this assumption that, like, my first instinct is to always escalate the situation. All I wanted to do was like confirm to everybody that there was a second person there before we just, I don't know, exposition dumped a bunch of very vital, important information to a secondary party that we might have not wanted to necessarily.
Sorry,
you know,
just one thing.
Yeah,
I have almost every single time that Callie has had an idea for something, I have, like, either fully agreed with it or was like, yeah, a variation of that would be a great idea. My only ever issue with it is that sometimes it's Callie does this immediately, and I'm like, I don't mind any and everything that you've done has usually led to a either decent or good solution. It's
mainly
just when
it's mostly beneficial.
Do it immediately feels like whoa, hold on, just like, as humans outside of game, just take 2 seconds, consult everybody, and then we're good. Because I promise you, 9 times out of 10, if you go, hey, I think it'd be a good idea if Callie did this, I'll probably be like, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Only reason I had a thing about Callie climbing the wall was, like, that's a bit, like, loud, and, like, I saying Tim climbing the thing, obviously Tim wouldn't have done it, and it still might have been a good idea for Callie to climb the wall, because Mr. Servos can get up there. My thing is only just, like, let me do it now, and I'm like, oh, just one sec, and, like, just let everybody know, and then talk about it for a second, and then go do it. That's only ever my thing about it.
And I think that's fine. I think that is honestly, that's good advice for all of us moving forward. Is that, you know, if you've got that momentary, like, oh shit, I've got inspiration on, like, what I want my character to do, I do want you to speak it. I do want you to throw it out. But also, if it's one of those, like, you're just firing so fast that you're not maybe fully explaining yourself, that is, again, I think one of those parts where we just need to, as a group, pump the brakes, make sure the idea gets communicated fully formed, and then we roll forward.
Yeah,
better communication skills.
I honestly think that like, not to harp on Fuzzy or anything, I do think that scene played out a little fast. Like, it did kind of feel like everybody was just kind of scrambling over each other to say, like, oh, I do this now, I do this, like Tim, just walking up to knock the door.
Yeah,
and
on me, that was bad. That was my bad. I should have said,
I think we just needed to. I think everybody was just firing on all cylinders. Everybody was like, "Oh, I'm gonna like everybody had, like, a plan. Like, oh, I'm gonna do this," and, like, we were all just kind of tripping over ourselves to say this. And I think, Sarah, people just had, like, such a reaction to your suggestion was just the words, or, like, the vernacular you use, like, where you said, like, Mr. Cyrils, like, kicks over the table.
I mean, I say, like, obviously, I always say, like, the most dramatic thing.
Yeah,
but obviously, that wasn't what I wanted.
Like, if you,
and in hindsight,
obviously
100%.
not.
Like, I think if
sometimes I say the most dramatic thing is, like, a joke. Like, yeah, no, that's not actually what I wanted.
It's like
to
a
do.
cut through. I get that.
Yeah, I get you. I totally understand, and I do think that you saying that, again, that's perfectly fine. I do think, though, it is one of those things where, again, we should probably take just a brief second to be like, do you mean that literally, or okay, you just meant that you were just going to move it? Okay, like those.
Because I'd agree. I've been like, yeah, it'd be funny if we just.
Yeah, and me.
What did you mean by this?
I mean, it would have been funny because the guy's sitting there just like, what do you want? And then just, like, a big robot comes in and, like, just
flies dick out.
Beep boop.
Just moves the whole desk out of the way.
Forklift certified fucking.
Yeah. The forklift certifies itself. Yeah, like, and you know me as a DM and as a person, that, like, if you present me with something funny, like 9 times out of 10, that's exactly the way I'm going.
Yeah.
And I am not above, putting my NPCs and my OC characters in not exactly like flattering positions for them to be in. I legitimately I had a when you guys were talking about like going to talk to Edisk, I gave myself a 50-50 coin flip on whether or not Edisk was like having a meeting, and that's just the way that it flipped out. So you know what?
He was getting a head meeting.
He was getting a heads up.
There you go.
So yeah. Anyways, it played out funny, and even though there was a little bit of a trip up, and right there at the end, I mean, honestly, the thing is that we were all fully engaged with the game and with that scene, and that's why we were all plowing ahead so fast that we started to trip each other up.
Yeah.
So, it's really just something that all of us need to keep a mild like lookout for, of like when we hit those points, to try to not trip over anybody, and if somebody just says something out that we get into another situation like this, we stop, we confirm exactly what we want to do, and then we move forward. There is this game has an infinite pause button. There's no reason why we can save scrub, we can pause, we can do all of those things.
We can step out of the Tim, the Laria, the June, the Callie, and just go back to like Syrup, Danger, Zany, Fuzzy, like people again.
We can do that. That's not a problem. I want to just make sure that that's
rewind time
clear.
once, okay? Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one.
Everybody gets one. But yeah, otherwise, besides that little hiccup there at the end, this was a good game. This was actually a legitimately very good game. You guys engaged with the setting. You engaged with the like bullshit that I put into this setting for you guys to engage with. That makes me so fucking happy. Like, as a person and as a DM, like, I am just pleased as punch. Really, I am. And as always, thank you guys for showing up and for having like a good time with me, and for putting up with my horseshit, as always. So, and of course, I know that I've said this before, and I'm going to just make sure that it is spoken out into the ether again. But if you do have any particular issues with either the way that I'm running the game, or any stuff that's going on, anything between yourself and another player, if you need somebody to mediate or whatever, hit me up, DM me, whatever it needs to be, and we'll take care of it. Because the whole reason that we are fucking doing this is to have fun. So I want to make sure that both the game, story, and just all of us being around together and just bullshitting with each other, I want to make sure that is as fun consistently as possible for as much of us as possible.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
If you have any suggestions,
other than sorry.
I was gonna make a joke, but you go ahead.
Session. I was just saying, other than that, I had a fun session.
Yeah,
we want you to have a fun session.
I'm glad. I'm glad. I mean, also, I would point out, Syrup, that like you made a 42 check.
That was.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if we've gotten a 40 yet.
I got that's a plus first... one from the eyepiece, plus one from the Mender soup, and then just a 20 from being a master in crafting.
Yeah, and
20 I rolled.
But you are also legitimately the first player, the first character to top a 40 in this game.
Fucking go!
So like, fucking congratulations! You need like a
first 40 of the game.
First 40 of the game, like fucking achievement unlocked. So, otherwise, through the coming week, through the coming week, I will hopefully have the time to poke a bit at like character sheets just to make sure everything is looking like it's supposed to be. I do want to dig a little bit more into Mr. Servo's just to make sure that like I'm not fucking up his AC. I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying to figure out why there's such a wide swing.
Because I was really confused by that, because you were like, you told me yourself that it's like, oh, I fucked up. Yeah, it's supposed to be 26. I think like several sessions ago.
Yeah.
And then suddenly this session, like this session, you're like, oh no, it's a 17. I'm like, well, now I'm just really confused.
Yeah, I
I'm
am.
wondering
I am
where this
also really confused
confusion
because
is
I
coming
remember.
from.
Because I'm also really confused because I remember telling you that, but I do not remember why. I do not remember the logic.
Yeah,
that
I don't.
led to
Or
that
I
number.
should have asked what the logic was because I don't think you told me. You just said yeah, it was supposed to be 26, and you didn't explain why.
I do not understand what that logic was. I will try to figure it out. I know that we could very well be just missing a bonus somewhere along the line.
Yeah,
There may be an item involved. I don't
He's
know.
got so many. It's like crazy.
So anyway, I will do some more investigation into that. Zany, are you still here?
Bang!
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay.
Oh, okay. I remember that you sent me a DM earlier about like a spell that you were having issue getting put into your sheet. Did you ultimately get that put into your sheet, or do you still need me to put it in?
I did, but you can always check if everything's correct.
Okay, then I will do that because I remember that you sent it to me, but I just didn't have the time to hammer in on it. Okay, but I will do that. And also, the next time you guys go out to play Harfield or anything, there will actually be NPCs filling up the map. That was one of those
more
things
people
that
to
came
hand out
short.
my business cards too.
Being at workshop, baby. We're getting t-shirts. Tim's gonna make a t-shirt cannon.
Yeah, I was hoping someone would say that. Let's go.
Yes.
How he's still got that cult symbol of the shark fin and the.
Okay.
I'm really glad that we had like this time to like talk and like work things out, and I will bid you all a good night.
At the end of the day, we're all
before you go, Citrus.
Good night.
Yes.
I am at 11% out of the 900.
Oh my god, dude.
Oh god.
Yeah, it took me like 4 hours to decompile that thing, but yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah. I will see.
I will show you my work once it gets done after I've finagled around with it, and then maybe shenanigans could happen.
Yeah. Shenanigans.
Love shenanigans.
All right.
Shenanigans.
You all have a good night.
Have a good night, everyone. Have a good evening. Enjoy yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
We don't fuck it up.
All right. And now let's go ahead and find somebody to raid who is online. Let's see. Inetu is on. Saria. Did I did those Serpamentos. Oh, Menageree's on. Yeah, let's raid Menagerie. I don't think we've had a chance to raid Menagerie in a bit, so we'll do raid. Menagerie VT. There we go. And as always, thank you all for being here. Communication is very important, and I'm glad that we as a group took the time to stop and work things out. Remember, if you're having issues with your group, you can always talk to your DM or the rest of your party, and communication is the key. So hopefully we can do better and not make mistakes like that in the future. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and raid my friend Menagerie. There is the raid message. If you are not subbed, you can go ahead and use this one, or just the words, or use your own emotes, whatever you like. And I will see you all next time. Bye bye. And hopefully one day I will actually implement a raid message or raid end screen and all that stuff. Bye bye.